welcome back to the Dynasty Grind. My name is Peter Howard at PA Howdy on Twitter. I'm joined tonight by Zach Reed from the Dynasty Dummies podcast. And I don't know why I'm pointing. He's not over there. Just take that hand down. And also Dynasty Outhouse, Russ Fisher from the Trade Addicts industry. Yeah, it's an industry. We talk about all things Dynasty every week, 9:30 Wednesdays, PM EST. Throw that out there. A lot of acronyms. I know you're a Dynasty player, so you like acronyms, right? But no, drop any questions you have in the whatever comment platform you're watching on, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, whatever Twitter's streaming platform is right now. Because I got two Twitter icons going right now, and as far as I know, that doesn't exist. So somehow we're doing that. Or even on Facebook, which I'm not even allowed on because I don't have one of those. But yeah, drop any questions you might have. We'll try to answer them democratically in the order that they arrive, usually talking about them too much, usually to around midnight when everyone else quits and I say, okay, we better go then. But yeah, welcome back. Football's about to start tomorrow, so I know as Dynasty players, you're probably a little disappointed. The least interesting part of the football season is here, where they generate all the fun stats for us to argue about when they get it done with in about 3 months or so. So, suck it up. We have to go through this part where we actually find out the information we're going to argue about for 3 months. And yeah, welcome back to the Dynasty Grind. Yo, how's it going, boys?
It's going good. I miss being here. It's been way too long, so I am happy to be back.
Tell you what, I was editing a video yesterday and I was trying to figure out what music to drop and I couldn't find the right one. And I realized I was looking for that Dynasty Grind drop, which isn't mine, so I can't use it in my video. Like I wanted the and it just wasn't there. I had to go with Zach instead. It's not the same.
I'm sorry.
I mean, just get lit, Zach. I don't know. Yeah, football tomorrow. So I'm a little disappointed. We're coming to the end of the fun season, but
I know, right? Who wants points? Screw that stuff.
It's championships. That's just boring.
For suckers.
Eric says, "Hey guys, looking forward to the live show tonight." Cool, because we're here. Eric was in here at like 5 minutes ago, and he's talking like he got in here before us. You weren't here before us tonight, Eric. Okay, it's one of those rare nights where we're here on time. 8-team Superflex. Quit. If an 8-team league in a Superflex. Okay. Start 12. Just got offered Lockett, Zamir White, not in an 8-team, and a 3rd-round pick for Dallas Goedert. No, I'd keep Dallas Goedert for that in an 8-team league. I'm just answering it as I go, by the way. No tight end premium. Does he accept?
I wouldn't. I'd rather have Lockett than Goddard, especially because he says, if you read the next one, he says Goddard is in his flex. So even if you think that Lockett has a big regression because of whoever the quarterback is that's starting in Seattle, he outscored Goddard last year by 60 points. In a PPR, and he was the wide receiver 30 last year. So it's not like you're expecting Lockett to come out and be a top 12 wide receiver. But man, I'd rather have Lockett in my flex than I would Goddard. There's a chance that Zamir White gets run at some point this year because they've already come out, not necessarily and said, but with actions. Said that Josh Jacobs is not entrenched as the starter. I think that McDaniels, I think McDaniels is kind of getting a feel for what he wants this team to be, and it may or may not be Jacobs. So Zamir White isn't a bad piece, and a third for a top 12 tight end, but not one of those top 4, and he's. So, I do that. I like that, Eric.
For me, it especially comes down to the league size here. 8 teams, Lockett could arguably be a better flex most weeks than Goddard as a tight end. But if Goddard's younger as well, and is probably more startable tight end than Lockett is a startable wide receiver in an 8-team league. And this time next year, if they just do what we expect, let alone do better than that, and Goddard's in a better position to do that than Lockett, then Lockett has less value and Goddard has more. Zamir White may be the interesting argument if you have more hope for him, but and a third-round pick in a rookie draft in an 18 league is essentially like it's like a late second, though. It's a little better than it looks, but it's still, I just keep Goddard. I don't see, it's some change for $1.
The third round is basically the second round in an 18 league because you figure, it's picked 17 to 24. So that's basically the second round. So
and to the point, I'm not sure I'd be interested in this in a 12-team league. Honestly, it's changed for $1. It's 14 teams maybe because depth matters a little bit more, but no.
I still think Lockett's the best player in this deal, and I want the best.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, not the most valuable, but the best. I think.
Same thing. Should be the same. SU too, buddy. 1 QB, half-point PPR, Cole commit or Coke commit, depending on how much fun he's had, I guess, and a 23-second or Gabe Davis. This is meant to be higher than that, but I think I take the commit
second over Davis.
Second,
I think I want Davis on this one. I do, and it's close, but I think you're going to see again. The Dynasty hasn't caught up to the Gabe Davis hype yet. Gabe Davis is still going as wide receiver 40 in the latest ADP from DLF. So there's going to be a micro market on Gabe Davis. He's going to have weeks this year where he scores a touchdown or two. There's going to be a 2-touchdown Gabe Davis week. There's going to be
Harmon week,
there's going to be more hype around Gabe Davis than Komet or the you guys treat seconds differently than I do now because I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
They're really good trade pieces.
I would say I think you're underrating how much of the Dynasty space is nerds, and nerds are just never going to like Davis. Like we got to begrudgingly accept it.
PFF is supposed to be nerds, and they love Gabe Davis. It just hasn't it hasn't trickled down to the Dynasty. But I think I think you're going to see Gabe Davis is one of those micro market players where you look at what he's going for in best ball. And when Jacob Rickroad came on, Peter, on the Crossroads, it's probably 2 months ago now. Yeah. And I was fortunate enough that you invited me on too, because you both are you two are my favorites. Like you and Jacob are awesome. And I just kind of like bask in, but we talked about how highly he was going in redraft and best ball and FFPC, but how low he was going in Dynasty. That's going to catch up at some point this year once he starts scoring points. And I don't expect Davis to be like a top 24, top 12 wide receiver ever, but I do think the hype is going to come up from 40 and you're going to be able to get more than Cole Kmet in a second.
What's really funny was Living the Stream finally came back, which I'm so freaking excited about. Like that show was one of the reasons that made me want to podcast. They're so freaking funny and clearly smart at what they do. If you don't know, whoever's listening, JJ Zacharyson and Denny Carter, Living the Stream. It's about streaming quarterbacks, tight ends, defenses. It's redraft. Yeah. And very Zach-esque opening song. But they have a listener league that is redraft, of course, and they have their first episode of the season where they were doing their draft, and they were talking about how they like Gabe Davis more in redraft than they do in Dynasty. So I don't know if it's that Dynasty hasn't really caught on. I just don't think most of Dynasty cares. Yeah, we saw him have 4 touchdowns in a game already. If we were going to be there, we'd be there.
But I mean, it was a playoff game. I'm not saying that Dynasty is going to bring Gabe Davis up into a top 12.
You're not saying it now because you said it already.
You don't think he'll go higher than wide receiver 40?
I'm shocked.
Not significantly enough. I'll get you better
than wide receiver 40.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a point during the season where you will get more than Komet and a second for Gabe Davis.
I mean,
what do you want?
It will be crazy to think that you'd get a 23 first for Gabe Davis. Like
that's what I mean. I don't think it increases enough. Even he's projected top 30s by most platforms for week 1. 4 for 4 is actually one of the better projection services. Having top 24, literally wide receiver 24, so it could be a pretty strong week 1. But it has to be significant enough that it would produce a significant enough trade difference in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, and 6. And I don't think you get to a 23 third. So the question is, what do you want right now? And I think perhaps breakout tight end in a second is a pretty good deal. But I mean, you can't hold. I don't think this is a must-take deal.
Well, and I think SU is the one that's trading Komet and the second.
Especially in half-point PPR, Gabe Davis, I don't know. It's going to be difficult to start at best. But that's me. I'm just out here being a hater. So, you know.
And no, I would not trade Hawkinson for him. No. I keep Hawkinson for sure. Yeah. Adam, love the show, guys. So excited for the real thing tomorrow. We're the real thing right now, Adam. But appreciate it. Tomorrow feels like Christmas Eve, and we're all getting to open a present. Yeah. I could see how some people might. No, it's pretty cool. It's a whole mountain of work opening up for the rest of us, but it's pretty cool. We're looking forward to it. I want to see new stats. Bored of these ones. 12-team Superflex, tight end premium for IDP league. Yeah. Gabe Davis got traded for a 23 second. Well, the other guy got a cold commit on top. Just saying. I offered the new owner a 23 second and a 24 first. Who's crazy, me or the original Davis owner? You.
I lean you, Adam. And that's okay. I like crazy, but I lean you, yeah.
But this is a pretty good illustration of like why I'm going to trade Cole Kmet in a second to get Davis, because I think there's going to be chances are there's someone in your league who is going to be bullish on Gabe Davis, because there are a lot of people.
Be ready now. Wouldn't he be ready now if you just go shop him around and see what you can get?
But the original question was trading for Gabe Davis.
Right. Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah. So yes, you could shop him around. That's exactly what I'm saying, Peters. I don't necessarily want Gabe Davis. My end game is not Gabe Davis, but I don't want Cole Kmet, wide receiver 21, tied to an offense that you don't know what is going to happen.
Tight end.
Tight end 21.
But
sorry.
Yeah. Scott McCoy, how do you feel about this wide receiver core? CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, and Scary Terry. I have 4 firsts for 2023. Was thinking of packaging 1 and Terry to go and try and get someone. If you do, you try and go high at that price. Like Terry and a 23 first. I mean, there's very few players I want.
Well, you've already got Higgins. You already got Higgins and Brown
CD,
and Lamb. So those are 3 of the guys that.
That's the tier you're looking at. Like, you're not going to get. I mean, maybe go for Cup. Like, you're giving up
Cup, maybe.
You're giving up. I mean, a little bit of a younger wide receiver and a first, so you're getting rid of like youth a bit. But I mean, Cup's going to score a ton of points. So like that's what you got to aim for. Like aim for those guys who might be a little bit older but are going to give you a whole lot of points. So I think Cup is a perfect way
Cup Diggs like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Glad someone said it. Joey, I appreciate you, gents. Not gents, but we will pretend to be for you, Joey. Thank you very much. Gonna listen to you for a bit. You helped me get through the workday tomorrow. Oh, I appreciate that, Joey. Yeah, anything to get you.
I'm glad we can help.
Workdays suck. Shout out, Joey. Casey, I traded McKenzie for Rashad White today. Yeah, it seems good to me because I struggle to remember who McKenzie is, and Rashad White's pretty good second-round rookie running back. When will Rashad White start? I don't know.
You're cheering for Leonard Fournette to win the lottery and retire to Fiji.
That's
or just not take that.
What I see coming.
And, you know.
There you go. What up, fellas? From Calvin Hobby.
Cal.
No less than Calvin Hobby. Already out there trolling for an actual platform he respects. Cal. No one see that, but for me and you, Cal, were fighting. No, not really. Good to see you, Cal. Casey Morse. Do love the trade show. too, as it really helps educate the novice Dynasty players like myself. Didn't know I was a novice Dynasty player, but I agree, Casey. I get educated on that show pretty often. I heard the weird episode last week. I heard Zach and not Outhouse on that show last time I watched it. I thought I was going through something.
Well, when you say trade show, I do like 6 of them, but I think he means the DLF trade show. But yes, I still have to listen to that.
I assume.
It's funny though, Casey. You say it helps educate novice Dynasty players. You would be shocked at how many people who are just full-on degenerates listen to and watch DLF shows and the DAP network. Listen to the DAP network shows. Listen to and take pieces from these shows and other analysts, because that's how you get better. So Casey.
Yeah, we're like college football. They steal the nuggets and move them up.
Yeah.
And sometimes the wrong nuggets, and we could have told them. But I legitimately saw a draft guide today that listed Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes as sleepers. So you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, Casey. You know. But appreciate you. Thanks very much. If you're here, you're not a novice. You can't hide behind that target anymore. We're way too deep into the trenches. Roster churning. Would you rather have Crowder or Demetric Felton? That's the way I'm saying it. Currently have Crowder. Does he still have upside with the Bills despite being the wide receiver 4 or 5?
Look,
I mean,
going back to Gabe Davis, we wanted Gabe Davis to be the number 2 wide receiver for what, like 3 years now? 2 years now, sorry. And it's been Cole Beasley and whoever and Manny Sanders. Crowder's a very, very good slot receiver. There's a chance he just slides in there and Gabe Davis is that wide receiver 3 again. Is it likely? I mean, probably not. But honestly, if you want straight up points, I stick with Crowder. If you want luck and lightning in a bottle and for things to happen and Demetric Felton finds the field, he'd probably get some points. But
it's
much less sexy, but I think more effective to keep Crowder.
Yeah,
I think Crowder's better. But the question is if the question is which one's likely to have more value, it probably Felton. But I'm keeping Crowder. I'd probably leave it. Yeah.
To me, so normally, Clue, the answer is the running back. Because normally you want the running back, but you're looking at a running back in Cleveland behind Nick Chubb, behind Kareem Hunt, and behind Jerome Ford, who played decent in the preseason. So now you're talking about the running back 4 in Cleveland, a team that doesn't have a real NFL starting quarterback until week 12. Let's take Crowder and hope that he is a slot receiver, on a high volume offense.
Hey, this is an aside, but this is like the 5th negative Breece Hall comment I've seen from people who think they're hot shit, to be honest. Is there a buy window on Breece Hall?
Yes, absolutely.
Go buy Breece Hall. That's our 2022 last preseason take. If he's dropped because of preseason news, get Breece Hall.
We did it was shortly, not after the NFL draft. It was like after rookie drafts and stuff like that. We did an NFL DLF trade show where Addison had Breece as a sell because he thought you were getting these massive deals for him. And at the time, you kind of were, but I think people got bored. I even got someone ask the trade addicts last night. What day is it? I don't even know anymore. On the last show we did, someone asked the question: if you have Breece Hall, are you starting him week 1? Yes. Yes.
But you saw 4 or 5 clips, Russ, in the preseason where the Jets' offensive line was terrible and Breece Hall got caught trying to figure out where the hole was and got tackled, and then Michael Carter made one run. So, I mean, the sky is falling. Again, this is where we're at in fantasy football, but Dynasty specific, and then that corner of Dynasty that's real plugged into shows and Twitter. Man, we we run so fast. All I can think of, and I know you've heard me describe this way before, is the scene in Hook. That's right. Me being very topical again. Hook,
Right.
which came out like 99. But there's the scene in Hook where they're going back and forth between whether or not Peter Pan is Peter or Peter Banning is Peter Pan, or whether Rufio is the guy. And the Lost Boys just go back and forth. Can't fight, can't fly, can't crow. And they go back over to Rufio. And then they, oh, there you are, Peter. And everyone runs back. That's how the fantasy football, the Dynasty community is with news, is we just run back and forth. And we saw, a bad play from Hall and a good play from Carter. And so now it's Carter. So, yeah, there's absolutely a buy low window with Hall.
Guys.
There you are, Peter.
Settle down. Are you really what has Breece Hall done for me lately-ing already?
Yes, but micro markets, Peter. That's
I think honestly, the real answer is if you were disappointed from the Jets preseason, who in the hell convinced you to expect good things from the Jets? Find them, unfollow them, stop tilting. Whoa. Oh no, the Jets look bad. Who? Oh my God. That's the season starts tomorrow, guys. You're meant to be doing better than this. Why are we out here every Wednesday? Sorry for blowing out the mic, but 60 weeks of show. Stop it. Trade for Breece Hall.
Bangarang.
God
Bangarang, Rufio.
Oh, the Jets look bad. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Where are we at?
After that one, we did that one already.
The season we're like, oh, the Jets look bad. I don't know I can get over that one. We need a new someone help. That Jets. Sorry for blowing out your ears at work, Joey. How about that? That's the way to get back to it.
Keep going. One more.
I'm nearly there.
There you are.
I'm a contender with Mark Andrews, non-tight end premium, doesn't matter. But thank you. Should I move Ertz and a 23-second for a 23-second or third? I mean, I don't think you're getting better than a second, but I probably want the points the day before the season, right?
If you don't care about depth, which I'm not really a depth person because I'm that jerk. I don't care that it's Mark Andrews. The day that Zach Ertz outscores him and he's on my bench, I'm still angry about it, even though starting Mark Andrews is literally always the right choice. Every once in a while, the process over results mantra just fails and I get angry. So yes, getting a 23-second and 24-third is a good price for Ertz. It's the best you're going to get. So if you do want to get rid of him, more power to you, and that's a good price.
Yeah.
Or if you're one of those people that like having depth or worried about injury or whatever, you keep Ertz and you're just playing keep away from another team. But that's good value if you do want to make the trade.
The only thing I can think of holding, even if it's just for the value, is he'll score points and then someone will be like, oh, he is worth a second, and maybe you'll get something better. But I don't. Even in season, when he's scoring points, a second's probably...
he'll have to be scoring top 5 tight end to get more than...
I got it. That's the right value, but it's not a thing we're particularly hunting. Like Zach says, he hates seconds, so maybe you want that value in a trade for a player or a thing you want, like Ertz plus a second for a first. Well, not quite that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
try and package him.
Yeah,
that's the right value.
The only thing I like less than seconds is tight ends.
So what do you think? What would you rather do? Have on a tight end on your team to trade, or the second and the third on your team?
I would rather have the second and the third, because the second round is where I'm going to go get tight ends in a rookie draft. So if there is a good tight end in next year's rookie draft, that's where I would be looking to add one. And if not, you still have that flexibility of having I don't think you're going to get a second for Ertz after this year. I don't.
You will not.
So, no, you won't. That's the thing.
It will be Trey McBride season.
And Ertz is
already is. But
Ertz is fine. Ertz is a good tight end.
Ertz shares, don't do them.
If I'm punting tight end, Ertz is a good tight end to have.
Yes.
If I'm in a tight end premium league, Ertz is a good player to have as a back end flex. if it's a non-tight end premium league and I have Mark Andrews, so I already have the positional advantage, I would rather have the second.
Yeah, it's Hunter Henry. I think if you're just looking for a starter,
yeah,
you know what I mean. I traded a first for Pat Freiermuth. Speaking of not giving up too much to tight end, you know. 12-team half-point PPR. I think I've done that twice this offseason, and then I traded him again once. I'm spending way too much time talking to you guys. I'm trading players before they play. Scott McCoy. Actually, that's what I was going to say. I ruined my trade. I was going Trey McBride hunting just before the season and David Bell. And so I sent out an offer to everyone, and then I got Pat Freiermuth. And then I was like, I'll just throw out a few Pat Freiermuth trades while I'm doing it. So I ended up with Freiermuth and no more David Bell or Trey McBride because I traded the things I'd offered. Kind of screwed myself there. 12-team half-point PPR single quarterback. Needs running backs. Who should I try and target by packaging Hunt and Penny together? Good question. You're gonna
you're probably looking at what, like Josh Jacobs territory. In which case, honestly, you might be better off just playing Penny the first few weeks until Kenneth Williams comes back. I'm having a hard time seeing someone being happy about receiving Hunt and Penny to the point that they're willing to get rid of a better running back.
Rashad Penny's in this weird James Conner phase of his career, which is odd as a 4-year-old running back because he's still pretty young.
He's been.
Yeah, but I think that he's the guy that everybody is worried about getting injured, and everybody is already assuming that he's losing the job to Walker. But Rashad Penny played great at the end of last season, and there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that he's not going to be like a good fantasy asset for this season. I don't think that Hunt and Penny have enough value to go get what you're looking for, Scott.
To get something you're looking for.
The funny thing
I would say right now, Sutton and Bateman are being drafted below Connor by himself right now. Now, you're not going to get him for Connor straight up, but if it's the right owner, you might get one or the other of them by adding Penny. I'm literally straight up looking at ADP and looking for who could I trade Connor for in his range that normally you wouldn't, but if you throw in Penny, maybe they'll give.
Well, no, but he's got Hunt and Penny, so Hunt is even
Hunt and Penny. Sorry,
down further. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I had Connor in my head. Sorry,
I said.
No, wait. I have like a good answer that might be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. No one's super thrilled about his existence, but he has the upside of being good in an offense that won't look like it did last year, but it's still going to be very good because it's still Patrick Mafrickin Holmes and Travis frickin' Kelce. It's not as much fun that I can't say Mafrickin, like frickin' Elsie. It doesn't really work. I think that's a pretty good idea. I said Josh Jacobs before, which I don't feel good about, but like that's the running back. 38 is Rashad Penny, 31 is Kareem Hunt. But honestly, putting them two together, you can't jump that high. Miles Sanders, like again, you're only going up like
I think Hunt has
running
more
back
upside.
spots.
I think,
but
Hunt's
is it worth it at that
more...
point? Sorry, go.
No, I'm shutting up.
No, I needed to get my.
I have been too loud and vocal
there,
as it is. You're good. Keep going. All I was going to say is Hunt probably has more upside than anyone you could trade for, because Hunt as running back one is something that I don't think you're going to trade for. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a really good idea, for the same reasons Dynasty has said. But I want to switch positions if I'm packaging up two running backs. That's generally my idea. I can get more trades done that way instead of going for a lose-lose trade. I was trying to convince myself you could get up to like Marcus Brown, who everyone hates, but that's just way too out. That's way too far. And I think Hunt's going to be the player I would want in any trade I can envision. The only other way, despite the fact that Zach hates tight ends, quarterback and tight end are kind of underrated positions, especially before the season starts. So you might get like a quarterback advantage by trading two running backs just before the season starts, or even a tight end one. because running backs are more thirsted for. So you could get Goddard. Yes, top 5 range of outcome.
Yeah, but I don't think Goddard's necessarily a positional advantage. Like,
Right.
I get it, but he's not really a positional advantage. So, like,
could you get?
He's a guy you don't feel gross starting,
right?
Yeah.
But I don't feel gross starting Hunt either. Hunt was a top 20 in again.
That's
points
the thing.
Per game.
He's still
like, He like when he's healthy, he's good. I think, Scott, you don't have as much for running back problems if Hunt and Penny are healthy than as you think you do.
Yeah. That's the thing. Hunt would be on the list of players I try and recommend people trade for, if you know what I mean.
Because they're cheap points. I mean, same thing with Penny. Like, these are guys that people look at and they go, eh. So these are players that are perennially on my roster. It's like Hunt. I have so many rosters with Hunt and J.D. McKissick, and whoever is another one of those guys that nobody wants but will still score. Like, that's what for forever it was Philip Lindsay, but he's not on a team right now, so it's not Philip Lindsay, but it's that type of player.
Right. I was trying to figure out where he came up, but like, he's a relatively high buy for me at running back. So I think the problem here is, Scott, is we like Kareem Hunt too much, but throw out some ideas that we might try if you're not into it
too much, but I just don't think you can get much higher based on those two players.
And we're at the point of the year where the points matter. And
I would say now is the time to sell running backs. I was thinking about it the other day. Like, I'm not sure about seasonal areas that you always do certain trades, but like right now, selling running backs is probably as easy as it gets outside of like just before the trade deadline and the players that know they're competing are competing. And even then, you've only got like 3 people who are interested. So, no?
He doesn't like trade deadlines.
I don't like trade deadlines.
What that was.
Well, I can agree with that. That's fine. Eric, who's someone you want to sell before he sees the field? And someone you want to buy before he sees the field. I
want to sell Dameon Pierce before he sees the field because I just did the trade show today where 3 people pretty much got firsts plus for Dameon Pierce. And that's crazy. So
that's
go
common. That's the thing we think of. So on Twitter, it might be so black and white, but I really think in most leagues, that's where he'll be. Like you said, you're finding all those trades from. Like, it's regular.
No, DLF Trade Finder. They're there.
Yeah.
Okay, are we talking like rookies before they see the field, or just like, because like I want to go buy. This is gonna be a weird
just
thing to
anyone. Like, season starts tomorrow. Let's do it real quick. That's not you right now, but I mean the trade.
I like both of the Jets receivers, and I think that they're going to be lower valued, especially now with I almost said Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson missing games, which is silly because they're like 20-year-old wide receivers. So who cares about a couple of games? But they're good. And if Zach Wilson isn't good, I think they'll figure it out quick and move on because.
They will figure it out quick, and they won't move on because they just invested a first-round pick and $3 million, $4 million a year in him. They will play him for the next.
Everyone knows
they're tied to
Josh Rosen happened. Anything could happen. I'm sorry, that killed. That literally killed the quarterback position in Dynasty.
Russ, that's an outlier. That's literally the one time that's happened.
But it doesn't matter. Like no one.
It does matter. Like that was literally Cliff Kingsbury saw his guy come up the next year, and that was it. And so it's that I get it. I understand, but that is such an outlier. I mean,
I know that's not something that's gonna yes.
It's like more people die falling in the shower every year by like 20-fold than they do with shark attacks, but everyone's afraid of sharks.
You should be afraid of hippos, by the way.
Yes.
But yes, that was a very dramatic example, even though it's true, by the way, that absolutely scared so many dynasty managers from the safety of the quarterback position because that happened. And then Cam Newton, they got rid of him a year early than a year too late. Well, a year too late instead of 3 years too late. But like the amount of teams that aren't willing to be stuck in purgatory anymore is refreshing.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, this is already Zach Wilson's second year, which means another year and a half, and we're ready for a new quarterback if he's bad. And again, a 20-year-old wide receiver, that's not a lot. And it's not like they won't score you points until then, because that defense it'd be really bad for a long time.
I like the Jets wide receiver. I think you're right on that. And especially like the way Elijah Moore finished last season. Like I'm very bullish on him. You took Pierce. Like Pierce is the guy for me that I want to sell before he sees the field, because even if he's great, he's a running back too. So okay, I miss out on running back too, but I can get a 23 first for him. The guys that I want to get right now before they see the field, and again, I'm still in rookie mode, so it's the guys that I liked that other people were a little bit more tepid on, Peter accepted, but it's David Bell and George Pickens. Like those are the two guys that, like, I know Pickens has had a little hype. Pickens is going to have more hype. So those are the two guys that I want. And Rondale Moore.
Well,
I've been quietly not selling him. Everything says to sell him, and I haven't been. I just
want to see them feed him.
I just turned down Tony Pollard for Rondale Moore, and it seemed fair. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do me, Eric, and just highlight the elements of the question. So those are really great answers. Damian Pierce is a particularly strong answer because he's someone who has to perform to a level because his values reached up to meet a production expectation at this point. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for players that might disappoint in production rather than sentiment, which is what we've been dealing with for the offseason, and the reverse. I think looking at old wide receivers and young running backs have been overvalued because of our expectation, which is what Dynasty Outhouse and Zach Reed are both doing there, is a really smart way of going about that. And you can pick a whole range of players that you yourself feel differently than in the market. But those are the two groups I'll be looking at. Someone I want to shout out, because I just had him on. He's going to be on next week's episode of The Crossroads, is Jay Stein. I think his work would be really interesting for this. It's @_Jay Stein. You can't spell it wrong. Come on now. Because he's looking specifically at putting a numerical value on a players on players based on their current sentiment using keep trade cut valuations, whatever they are, and their actual points per game. So it's how much you get for how well they're valued, and that would directly feed into the question you've got here. And I think you're going to see a lot of those two groups.
Wait, does that exist, or he's working on it?
It exists. He works for Dynasty Nerds. He's been doing it for this off season. He's been measuring it and how much essentially value he's accrued by following what Zach calls micro market trends. And he talks a lot like you. He's got a lot like similar players. You're doing it almost more naturally, and he's trying to quantify the process, if you know what I mean. That's what I saw.
It's really
interesting. I really thought it was interesting.
I have like 3 or 4 Google Docs titled Trade Diary in a year. And I usually stick with it for like maybe 4 days, because someone who's in less leagues and doesn't trade as much as I do needs to do that. I can't keep up with the shit I do, and I lose patience and I don't have enough time for it. But like, I would love to be like, that sounds super interesting.
It's on Dynasty Nerds. It's free. It's his pinned tweet if you want to read the article. He's actually using a financial equation because he's a finance guy to create it. And it's Jason Stein, so _Jason Stein. He's a really cool dude. I met him at the expo. And like I say, his work's up on Dynasty Nerds right now for free. You can just read through the articles, and he's posting his top buys and sells. It's really interesting. It annoyed me because halfway through him explaining it, I realized I was going to have to de-nerdify all of it, but also because I could see a world where all our debate about value is... Because if you can quantify something, and that's most of what we do, frankly. I thought it was a really interesting line. But anyway, what I was doing was looking at his top list and trying to find those types of players who are going to disappoint or impress with production now that the points are back here and sentiment doesn't matter as much. And players that stood out to me is, again, all wide receivers and young running backs. All wide receivers that we've been talking about this offseason: Cortland Sutton, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marcus Brown. perpetually
Allen
undervalued in
Robinson.
sentiment. The minute the points we expect the points start to roll in. It's going to be difficult. It is hard not to say rookies, which is where Zach's head went immediately. But we can hope for a delay in production with rookies a little bit. We'll give them the first 6 weeks instead of the first 3, and so you might have a longer window. Young running backs are probably due to do pretty well this year because of what's been happening at running back. But we've also got Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, who are going to score points week 1. Because unless, lightning strikes badly, week 1 is normally not when they get injured. Everyone's going to be, oh, yeah, remember when they were fucking league winners? So, but the problem with both of them is they've got first, second round values. Trading for them right now, like, you're not getting a discount. It's just that people have been narrating their concern for 3 months, so we think there is. They still cost a whole bunch. So those wide receivers are what stand out to me, and the players I want to go and try and send last-minute trade offers on: Marcus Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Cortland Sutton. And the running backs, Pierce is a pretty obvious one, and I couldn't come up with another one, so I'm going to take Jason Stein's literal answer. And the top running backs he has on there, Joe Mixon, which I think is a really good point. He's underrated because he's a top 12 running back twice. It's pretty good. But people forget how disappointing top 12 running backs are. They're really projecting more points per game. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be great again. I just don't think all the promise is going to come back and that sentiment's going to come back in line with his points per game, which is great, but not what we have seen Barkley and what we've seen Christian McCaffrey do. It's what we've seen Joe Mixon do repeatedly and in an awesome fashion. And so I think now might be the last wind to catch some of that sentimental value on Joe Mixon on the magnificent Cincinnati offense. Also Nick Chubb, because everyone's going to remember, he's a magnificent talent who has Kareem Hunt on the roster, and that's just the way it is. And the other one he's got in there is James Cook, but I'm not so sure about that one. He's a rookie. I think we can give him a delay. So, yeah, I'm just stealing my answers, Eric. But hopefully, again, I always hope that the process has some value because that's literally what I do. And maybe you can come up with good answers for yourself. That was a really long answer to Eric's question. Probably means either he's good or we're bad. We're bad at answering, or he's good at asking, one or the other. Casey Morse, 12-team Superflex. 12-team, start 12, sorry. 12-team, Superflex, start 12. Give Henry and DK, probably not, and a 23 first.
Give Henry.
Give Henry, get DK, and a 23 first. Scared I won't be able to contend as I'm probably a top 3 team right now. There's an older running back whose points might remind us that it's not all it's cracked up to be. For a wide receiver who's young and currently maybe undervalued because of immediate concerns, and a first. Process says DK in the first, judging by what I've learned from you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, you won't? You're afraid you can't contend because you're a top 3 team?
No, because if he trades Henry.
Oh,
yeah.
So yes, if you're trading Henry, you're probably not as good of a competing team as you were before. Competing team? Yeah, because Henry's going to score a lot of points. If you want to play Dynasty, you make this trade because you keep DK because he's going to go up in value by default the second the Seahawks do something at quarterback. And not to mention, the dude's a freak of nature. He is great. And then you could, even if you wanted to still compete, you're getting DK that you can still play, who will be a solid wide receiver too this season, and do something with that first if you want to now to go get more points in the running back position if you need by selling Henry. So I really think this is a very upside play, but it's a little riskier in that you won't have Derrick Henry, who is just Derrick freaking Henry.
I think the other good point to make here is that while it does seem bad to trade for value and you're not going to be a contender, the thing about value is while it is not points, it has a high correlation to points. That's the whole idea, right? So the players that are drafted more have higher points per game on average. So it feels icky. But honestly, halfway through this season, you might be feeling like you're not that much worse off with Henry versus DK. If Henry's gets hurt a few games, if DK can still catch 100 yards and a touchdown, which he could probably do with everyone at least a couple times.
He did pretty well with Geno. I mean, Geno, not Russell Wilson, but...
Yeah, don't fear it too much, but I get it. Henry isn't on the protected list. I talk about him like it's But like he's not on that few. I insist he gets so much rushing opportunity, and the red zone included. It really does kind of boost him towards that category. But at this value, I think I trade out, and I still expect to compete, depending on what the rest of my roster looks like. Samson Simpson.
I stick by my story.
Like it. 12-team 1 QB half-point PPR. Traded Damian Pierce and Pacheco for a 24 first. Smart, switching to 2024. No one sees the Spanish Inquisition or 24 first coming.
For a 23 second.
And you get a second thrown in because you went a year. That's nice. After seeing some of these Pierce trades, feel like I left some meat on the bone.
You probably did.
Be happy with that. That's really good.
You can't. I've done that. Like, why can't I get that trade? But this is a really good trade, man. I wouldn't worry.
But I do like Russ saying, then turn around and trade Pacheco for a second, and
I've seen multiple times.
Yeah, and then you basically got 2 seconds and a first for Pierce, and you're very happy about it.
Yeah, yes, I did. Kid Coop, to piggyback on your 8-man league and Gabe Davis talk, I'm in an 8-man league, and it's all about obtaining the elite of the elite players. Yeah, that's kind of where my mind goes. The smaller a league size gets, the more I'm like, I only want
that elite Cole Kmet. You know, I'm with you.
Yeah, right.
More of a chance Cole Kmet becomes a top 8 tight end than
no.
Hold on, I need
that was a different question. It was in the 8.
Then Gabe Davis becomes a top 16 if we're only starting 2 wide receivers.
No.
8-team league had nothing to do with Gabe Davis. I'm just saying Dallas Goedert did, and I do think he has a shot to be at least positionally advantageous.
No, because there was that something for like second and Kmet or something. I don't
know. That was later, but not. I don't think it was the 8-team league one. Maybe. I think I've definitely lost our place again.
Oh yeah, we're
everyone talking about yourselves.
There you go.
There we go. Better keep rolling the dice and try to acquire assets with a high upside than obtaining. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey,
you want the ceiling.
Always be tearing up.
ABT,
one way or the
ABTU.
other, like physically crying or actually tearing up. Benjamin Paul, 12-team Superflex, Damian Pierce plus what gets Saquon? 2 firsts.
Well, that should be the answer.
From me? Yeah. I got a question in my Discord today, which was basically a 24 first and Walker for Barkley. And I freaked out. I was like, no, it's not it.
I could see that getting done, though, and that would make me sad.
Yeah. That's why that's the value difference between them for me, and anyone who says different is wrong. Not.
I mean, like currently, it's a first. In reality, it's 2 firsts.
Yes.
There you go. Samson Simpson, welcome back. Gabe Davis is going to be a top 24 wide receiver this year. I'll die on this hill. You and half of fantasy Twitter, man. Don't worry, you're not alone. Just Dynasty, apparently, that's staying out of it. And that's why I love fantasy, because you won't agree with everyone all the time. Definitely the energy I like to see.
But here's the thing. If he does...
It's good.
Sorry. If he does finish as a top 24 wide receiver, he's still probably going to be Dynasty wide receiver like 32. Like, he'll move up a couple. But I don't think scoring wide receiver 22 isn't going to vault him into like wide receiver 18 or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It did for Pittman.
Didn't for Corey Davis. He was wide receiver 25.
Pittman was literally wide receiver 21 last year, and he's going as the top 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could happen.
He's 13th, I think, right now.
I am not a Gabe Davis guy. I am not. Just
situations are pretty different between the two.
Here's the thing. I get the idea. I think by week 3, people are disappointed, not excited about his production. And I don't think that's going to get better by week 6. I think you're starting to see the minute production comes in, because I'm on this hill too. I'm on the opposite hill of Samson. I think it's going to be disappointing. I'm not a Gabe Davis guy. I don't think a week's going to do it. If it's week 1, sure, the ball keeps rolling. If it's not week 1, but it is week 2, I don't think the ball rolls. They're going to need to see a top 24 season, not a top 24 game, and you need multiple weeks.
Peter, I'm going to tag you tomorrow night.
I mean, if I'm
Gabe
wrong,
Davis
I'm wrong.
has his
But
second touchdown.
Me and Samson
I'm just going to tweet right out at you, and I'm going to tag Samson too, and I'm going to be like,
"That's
Pete.
cool." I mean, we're on the same, we're on opposite hills, same mentality. I'm just going to think what I think. Sometimes I don't want to.
And see, and I'm splitting the difference between the two of you because I want him now because he's wide receiver 40, but I think there are people like Samson who buy in, and I can trade him, and so that's where I'm at.
That's the
this
smart
is where I
if
tag out it. If you're good at training,
I get to. I'm doing a split on both hills. It's great. I needed to stretch out a little bit. So my hamstring. I'm day to day with hamstring.
I can see you warming up before the season. Hang on.
Zach's be walking around with 2 big ice packs.
Well, he's gotten right so far. So I'm wrong 4 times, or Zach's right 3 times. I get 4 times.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, Peter. It's don't put that rightness on me.
Right. And Miles Underwood, what's up, fellas? New to the channel, love the vibes. I appreciate that, Miles.
Appreciate you, Miles.
Keep the vibes good, or at least enjoyable. Just Sherman 4. I remembered this time. Thank you. Sorry, I struggle with these things. Redraft 12-team half-point PPR, the 102 spot. Herb, CMC, ETN, Ramondre, Jay Cook, Chico, Tyreek Hill, Deontay. I had thoughts on him, but Ayuk, Burks, Gallup. We'll put on IR and grab someone else too. You mean Gallup? Sure. That all seems good to me. In a redraft league, if you're asking just team evaluation, I think that's pretty strong. I'm worried about ETN, where you drafted him in redraft right now. Is maybe a little strong, but he could definitely pay off. I don't mind it.
It's pretty good for a 12-team team.
Yeah. How do we feel about Nick Chubb for the contenders out there? Actually, sorry, I'm going to go back to this. Someone asked me for a little help in a standard draft, and I was like, I don't do that. But I went ahead and I used Fantasy Pros ranking, and I inputted the standard scoring, and I made my little draft sheet that way, and I explained what the numbers went when I'm higher on a player and Fantasy Pros, and he showed me the team, and it looked really strong, but it had like everyone I hate on it at the same time because Fantasy Pros had him ranked higher, and he was smartly going with the standard rankers, not the PPR Dynasty ranker. And so he had Dalvin Cook, which for a Dynasty player, I'm like, ooh, great, but ooh. And then Gabe Davis, and there was Nico Collins and Isaiah McKenzie, and I was like, oh no, I'll go running back and tight end in that round. He drafted this really solid team with everyone that I wouldn't pick, and I was like, man, that's wow, weird. Late, I mean, not early. And it was really, I was going to show you guys that to see, because I thought he drafted a really strong team, and I've got no idea how, because he listened. Well, I know I didn't help him with it. Despite that, sorry, where were we? Eric, how do we feel about Nick Chubb for the contenders out there?
He's probably going to be running back 12 on the season, 13.
He's an 11 player,
7 and 8 in points per game because he's going to miss a couple.
Yeah, like he's great, but he's not. I traded Nick Chubb away in the offseason for a 23 first.
Yep.
He's one of those players I have to remind myself we play fantasy football, because even I can see through stats how significantly better he is. Like, he's a really good running back. It's pretty clear. And it just... It's Joe Mixon points, top 12 points. It never. I was hoping for more.
10 rushes for 92 yards is a great amazing NFL game, but it's still 9.2 points on your fantasy team.
Yeah. So at this point in the season, if you haven't gotten a first with him, write him out. He's going to be the most talented running back.
He'll have multiple touchdown games. He'll be good for your team. He's just he doesn't have that RB1 upside.
But that's how we feel. And our fifis don't matter. So you're good. Don't worry about it, Eric. Dynasty question for you all. That's cool. We'll be into that. We could try that one out. I'm in win now mode. Good to hear. And I'm wondering if you think I should trade for an elite wide receiver. 9 times out of 10. His team is Lamar, Henry, Eckler. It's probably the first trade target I see. And ETN, actually, that's probably a better one. He's got Pittman, Sutton, who we like. Deontay Johnson, who I like a lot. I'm starting to like even more. And DeAndre Hopkins, same story. I think ETN and Pittman gets you like a really good wide receiver, right?
Yeah, I mean, Pittman is a really good wide receiver.
I mean, yes. Could he get you Jalen Waddle? I know you like Jalen Waddle.
I
like Jalen Waddle.
Okay, yeah, even I would do that.
There you go.
Like, give me that guy. Yeah, like if I can get up to that T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle area from those two, yeah, I mean, I do that. But I do think Pittman is going to be a solid around that wide receiver 10 to 15 area.
And full story, Miles, like you don't have to. I think this is a really strong team. Like you can wait and see where you're at, whether ETN fulfills any of his potential. Gibson will probably get his running back one role early, and you'll have a pretty good idea if you're competing or not. And you can wait a little while. This team's solid, but if you're trying, that's the kind of move I'm looking for. I'm trying to go get one of my, and if it's not Waddle for you, Jefferson, Chase, like Russ said, Higgins is up there for him. CeeDee Lamb maybe. I'm trying to go all the way up because your squad's already solid, so I don't need wide receivers. I want higher upside.
Do you think with all the rage on ETN here's another guy that I would trade before I see a snap, because I think the hype on ETN has come so far, and we talked about this. We knew this was going to happen.
Move on.
We knew this was going to happen, but how much do you think you have to put with ETN to get to Waddle? Do you think you can get ETN in a second for Waddle, especially if you think you're going to be a real competitive team?
Well, I said add Pittman, so clearly I thought it meant you needed more. But if you could get it for less, I'd be really into it.
Because I'd rather not trade Pittman. I'd rather have.
Okay. You don't have at all. Solid.
You don't have to.
No, I know. But I think
okay.
The way I would be attacking that is to see if I could add ETN and a second to get that receiver that I wanted. Whether it's Waddle, whether it's Metcalf, whether it's DJ Moore, like that. Even like
Mooney.
Mooney. I think you can get Mooney plus for.
Yeah, that's
ETN.
not going up. That's not going up.
I mean, it's good points, but yeah.
But like that to me, like I am for moving ETN now before everyone realizes that he's in a timeshare with James Robinson.
Who is it you target? We said Waddle. I think CeeDee Lamb's an interesting one too. If you really try to go up there, is there anyone else you'd put on that list? Because I made Russ excited with Waddle intentionally. Higgins, not a bad one.
But again, and like I said, like even Metcalf, his value has come down because of the quarterback
ETN
situation.
might get you Metcalf straight up, right?
And I would do that. I would rather have Metcalf than ETN. Because A, I think he's a better player, and B, I think the longevity of the position is better.
And it will come back around. They're seesawing right now. Let us know how you do, Miles. If any of that works for you, or if you get anything like that done, I'd be interested to know. Christopher Gordon, Hook was 91. Damn you!
There you go. See, what did I say? 97.
I'm definitely not 97. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Run home, Jack. Run. Oh, sorry.
Backwards. And I love how they look down to read it. Home run. That movie's so.
I want a bottle. I want a party. I want me, mine, now.
It is a great movie.
What's so fun about it is I read that was one of the most disappointing movies in like movie history, because originally it was supposed to be dark and gritty, and like that Pan movie we got with the movie where they had to keep reshooting it every 2 weeks because the kid was going through puberty, so they kept like his voice kept cracking and he kept getting acne and growing. But that movie was supposed to be dark and scary, and it turned into what it was.
Oh, it was so good.
So all of us who didn't know that at the time freaking love it because it's amazing. Everything about that movie is fantastic. Except
it's got Robin Williams. It's already great.
And Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman. It just
Julia
To the
Roberts.
moon.
Like, it was,
yeah. I will say, just to emphasize how little anyone that's listening to us cares, except for us.
Box.
I had one of those "how old am I" moments the other day. I was watching a Fortnite stream while I was working on stats. It plays in the background, and a Fight Club reference came up. A movie that came out 10 years after that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I think I know that. I think I watched that. Wasn't that the one that came out with Brad Pitt? Like he was a fully grown man, millionaire, and he was like, fuck, I think I remember that one." And I had one of those, God, I'm old moments.
No, that guy's
for
terrible.
real.
Like, man, I read the book. Like that. How old am I?
Books?
Yeah,
but that's how little anyone else cares about Hook. That's a movie that's 10 years past, let alone Hook. Sean, I traded Brees for Akers and a 23 first. Actually, I kind of love that. I was going to say I hated
David Bell. I like that.
And David Bell, that's too much. I feel like the only bad thing about this trade is you took advantage of the other person.
I mean, that's 2 firsts and a second. That's really
awesome.
good.
It's really good. It's really, really, really good. Miles, I've got a lot of young players too, like Pickens, Palmer, Gainwell, Wan'Dale Robinson, and I have all my future picks. Sorry, I know that's a lot. That is absolutely no problem, Miles. You can roster flex all you like.
Yeah, seriously,
seriously, this is a great team.
That's a really good roster. Don't rush anything.
Hits too, yeah.
Hits and moves at tight end, just casually sitting there with Deontay Johnson and Pittman and Sutton and also Lamar Jackson. Yeah, shut up, Miles. Actually, I've decided it's not okay. No, you did. That's a really good team, Miles. A really good team. Good job. I wouldn't trade Brees shares unless I'm getting a 223 first. I don't think he's worth 2. And I would trade him away for 2, but he's somewhere between 1 and 2.
I have been on record as saying Brees Hall is the only player in this class that makes me pause.
Yeah.
To trade, and I still think I would trade Brees Hall for a 23 first right now. I think I would.
If you gave me a feeling it was top half, I'd do it without thinking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, we're a dynasty. We've got a dynasty audience because the season starts tomorrow and no one cares about start sit questions. I'm like, should I still trade for that guy? Picks? It's fine by me.
You got to have a lineup before you can start sit, Peter. We're trading for our lineup right now.
Yeah, I'm not ready to start yet.
10 team, 2 quarterback PPR. Elijah Moore and 24 first or T. Higgins. That's actually pretty good.
That's close, but I think it's Higgins.
10
team, take the.
If it was a 23 first, I would think a lot more. But 24 first, it's far away. Give me T. Higgins now.
That's equal to me, so I'll probably take the 1 over the 2. But 10 team kind of swings it towards Higgins for me. Flip team, yes sir. Chayton. Sorry about ruining your name there, but I really suck. I know. Should I drop Kyron Williams on my taxi squad to get Jalen Warren, Boston Scott, Breida, or McKinnon? I think you should anyway because the roster spot has value. You may as well add someone. Which one? I barely know who Jalen Warren is, so I'm assuming he's new. So I'm pretty interested. Best guess is Scott.
It would be McKinnon, Scott. Warren Breida for me. In that, that would be my order.
I went Scott because I didn't see McKinnon at the end there, so I'm just going to stick with it, Scott. Yeah. But honestly, I would definitely try and make that move. And Zach's probably got a strong.
Go and get yourself 2 gelatos. Pay with cash. Get yourself 2 coins. The process of elimination. Flip for 2, then flip for 1. I mean,
you get a lot of gelato that way, if nothing else.
Yeah, if nothing else. Yeah.
So you win.
I'm drinking wine and drafting. Good job.
That's dangerous.
At least you're not trading.
I mean, as long as it's fine. Northern Border. Devontae, James Cook, Cole Kmet, or Pitts. Pitts, especially in a keeper. Keep 4 league.
Yeah.
If you can only keep 4 players,
I think it's.
You're not going
to
keep
Devontae Adams
or Kmet after this.
That's the thing.
Points
no matter how they do
are iffy for Cook and Kmet already anyway. So you might as well get Pitts, who you're going to want to keep, even if he's not the tight end one this year, because he will still be one of the top tight ends.
And even if this wasn't a keeper, it'd be Pitts, which is a shame. There's a lot of hope and points in Devontae on the other side, but it's Pitts. Better season, Breece Hall or ETN? Breece Hall.
Breece Hall.
Yes, sir. Rob Z. Thank you for coming to the stream. CXK. Dynasty 12. That's probably the last time we chucked someone over ETN, so I may as well thank him now. CXK. Dynasty 12 team Superflex PPR. Start 10. He gave Brissett, or she gave Brissett. He got Romeo Dubs. Didn't need Brissett at all, and also he has Christian Watson. Thoughts? I don't think having Christian Watson or not needing Brissett matters to me. I just think Dubs has probably got the better chance at starting sooner rather than later, I would guess. And so, yeah, I take the Dub side. And yeah, I did just literally quote Outhouse and fully claim it as my own process. That's the Outhouse process right there. What you have doesn't affect what it's worth.
I mean, you're essentially getting something for an 11-week rental at quarterback.
Yeah. I just made it look harder. You see, you got to make it look like it's difficult. Because then when the difficult ones come along, you get a little leeway. Words. Chad, would you trade Tua, Pickett for Fields and a 23 first Superflex 10 team? I don't know about that.
I don't think I would.
No.
I think it's good. And with the first on that side, I think you're justified in doing it. It's about what you think of the Tua. And
Fields.
Yeah, it's about what you think of Tua.
Like, yeah, this is a very personal thing. Like how you feel.
I think the values
three of these players.
Spot on. Yeah, I think both of you are getting good deals. If you like Tua this year, if you really think he can pay off with 2 top 12 wide receivers and hopefully recovered from the injury issues, then you do it. You take the Tua side. And if you don't, Fields is talented. I know I've been no sophomore QBs all last season because they did badly in the rookie year, but he is talented. There is upside there. And you're getting a 23 first to balance it. I think this trade is both of you are trying to help each other out. And if that's the way you feel about the players, you do it. Yeah. I like your lead. You're looking out for each other. I like it. Just Sherman 4. I have Ertz too. Forgot.
No, this was a different.
Yeah, I know, but
you're
his
thinking about
Miles'
team
as well. I'm going to be thinking about Miles' team for a while. Okay,
I was
going. What were you going to say, Zach? Sorry.
No, I was actually wondering about Sherman's tight end, so I'm glad that he came up with Ertz.
There you go. Do you think Davis Mills shows Houston he's their guy going forward, or does he get replaced in 23? Seems like there's a lot of teams with fringe QBs, but not enough prospects to fill those voids. That's exactly the situation, Eric. I had, what's his name? Married to Jen, who we all know and love.
Nate.
Nate, thank you. Nate Plovett on the show 2 weeks ago. He's a big Davis Mills guy, and I was saying the same thing I did then. There are more Gardner Minshew's than there are Tom Brady's, obviously, or Jalen Hurts, just to take it out the GOAT conversation. But Davis Mills really impressed next year, and for his value right now, I'm willing to take that chance. He got the starter gig for his second year, which Gardner Minshew didn't do. They went out and replaced him. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of hope for it. Just I err on caution with quarterbacks. I've got no edge on it. Anyone got any better Davis Mills thoughts, or just thoughts in general? I think he did really well last year.
I mean, I don't have a prediction on Davis Mills, which is what Eric wants. Is he wants to know whether or not he's going to be the guy. The thing with Mills is if you believe in him, go get him because he's reasonably cheap. And I did listen to that show that you and Nate did, and Nate's in on Mills.
He is.
But you're going to know after this year because he was a later round pick, which means there was no investment in him. So if he's good, that's a great advantage for Houston because it's not investing much money in a premium position. If he's bad, they're going to have a higher draft pick in a class that's got 4 or 5 quarterbacks, and he's replaceable because they didn't spend any money on him. So, like, you're going to know one way or the other.
compartmentalize, so often I forget to ask these interweaving questions because I prefer to separate it out because I feel we make more mistakes, or I make more mistakes that way. But does what you think of Damian Pierce affect what you think of Mills?
No.
Or Outhouse, but you were the one talking. Like, if Damian Pierce is good, they don't have to pass as much. That kind of vacated but not quite vacated argument.
If they don't want to pass, they won't pass.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to be good. Their offense is going to have to be good for them to run more. Like, that's the whole.
That's what I think. And if you think Davis Mills is good, that's good for Damian. You see, I don't connect the two, but I can see the argument.
And that's part of my fear of Damian Pierce is I don't think Damian Pierce is a great running back. I don't think Damian Pierce is creating his own yards. I think Damian Pierce is really good at reading a hole, but second level is not his thing.
I just remember his vision with someone else's
Kevin Harris, the guy that the Patriots drafted and then cut, and hopefully he ends up on their practice squad. Because I'll
be honest, that's the only reason I knew who he was when people started talking before the draft, because of your metaphor of combining these two players.
Yeah, like Kevin Harris reminds me of Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where Drax just goes in and jumps into the mouth of the beast. And Pierce is the opposite, where he's got great vision, but he's not getting 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. He'll get through the hole, and then it's all right, that's all I got. This was
volume
nice.
Does fix everything.
Yeah, but again, to have the volume, Houston's got to have a good offense, and
that's what I think. If Mills is moving the ball better as well as he did last season with Cooks, there's a chance.
Well, see, here's also I loved what Miami did and what it looked like Cleveland was doing, and then they got weird. But they didn't rush to take their quarterback. They filled with Tyrod and Fitzpatrick for a year, because you can't just take a quarterback and hope the rest falls into place. Build up your line, offense and defense, because you want your team to be good, not just one side. So build the rest out and then worry about quarterback, because what good is a quarterback if he gets killed? You don't want to David Carr someone. So maybe Davis Mills isn't the long-term answer, but he still can be for past this season.
Well, and that's again, Davis Mills being okay gives them a real good opportunity to build. The problem is if he's too good, it takes them out of that range of getting a quarterback.
That is very fair.
So it's an odd kind of interplay there. I think Davis Mills is fine. I think he's probably a top 20 quarter. I think he's better than Baker. Did I say that? He's probably a top 20 quarterback in the league, but top 20 quarterbacks don't stay around very long.
Total Chad. Okay. Football. I'm starting Grape Daily. Cool. Grape's 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs was a vision of the future. It might well be.
Is Grape Gabe Davis?
Did you type Grape Daily once?
I'm pretty sure. Clinton Davis. What should we be valued? That's not me. That's the way it's said. Information. Kirk and Gallup at
valuing turned into value information. That's the only thing I could think of.
How should we value Christian Kirk and Michael Gallup? Superflex.
Seconds.
Yeah. 10 team. Discount Chris Godwin's. the top 24 wide receivers, not top 12, not top 5, who are a little discounted because we're expecting some kind of hang up at the production. Actually, I'd say that about Gallup. Christian Kirk's top 24 wide receiver, who might not be top 24 because, the team sucks. Samson Simpson. Off topic, I made a Varsity Blues A10 comment in the live stream with Addison last night.
Oh, no, we would have been like, 10! 10!
No. Yes, Addison is still 12, but that kid has seen 0 movies in his lifetime. You do not judge anything based on Addison's movie knowledge, because John Hogan and I would tear our hair out trying to make references at this kid. It's just Here's my hair.
That's what happened. I mean, yeah,
exactly.
God damn,
Zach tried with Addison, and look,
just doing nothing but work. Hate him. He's just gonna let that one hang. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Miles Underwood. I meant just clip that, send it to Addison. You might want to get this guy off your channel. Miles Underwood. I meant trade for an elite wide receiver 4.
We knew.
Yeah, we got you.
We got that right.
Yeah.
BG Lee, welcome back. Week 1 question. Need one to start. Landry, Burks, Hines, McKenzie. Have Landry currently in, but like Burks, upside more. Yeah, Landry's a difficult start sit right now. Most of the places I've got him, I don't know what that starting roster actually is.
I'm going to start Landry out of those, and I want to see Burks do it once before he's in my lineup, because there's been like, I believe in Burks long term as a player, but there's been a lot of negatives. I think Landry, you're going to see him catch 6 balls. He's going to have 70 yards, and if he has a touchdown, then it's gravy, and if not, you still got 13 points.
Yeah, the Buffalo wide receiver 3-4 isn't doing it for me either. I think Landry has to be a start in that tough situation, and hopefully Bucks come through.
Hines is a sneaky one, though. But I still think it's Landry for me.
Usage before I go for it.
Yeah,
I'm wondering where they have him. Now, how to spell Naheem? It's been a while.
Nyheim.
No.
Is Michael Thomas playing? Is he?
He's protected for like 7 points week 1.
If Michael Thomas is not playing, I changed my answer to Landry. I'll put that out there.
I think Michael Thomas is playing, but I still think Landry is, like I said, 6 catches, 70 yards.
Week 1, play it smooth.
It's very Landry. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get to week 2 and Landry
scores a touchdown, you got 20. Like what? Yeah. Okay.
Joe. Hey, Pete, Zach, and Russ. How is everyone?
We're kind of caught. We're not far behind.
I know, right? It's kind of scary. I'm not used to this. I don't like this energy. My line from that movie is, "You don't want your life." Oh, fair enough. So I got Drake London. I'm sorry.
Good for you.
Karen Wilson and Jameson Williams. I realized I got Jameson Williams in a redraft league. I went back to check on some rosters. I was like, what was I thinking there?
I drafted him in SMP.
It was the European version of it, apparently. I forgot I did the draft. In my rookie draft, what should I do with that? Hold him.
Yeah.
It's a fair question, though. I'm writing up target share, and one of the things I'm going to be looking at is, are rookies under or overperforming, and we want to know as soon as possible. I don't know if we can know weekly, but I've looked at it as best I can. Like week 3, I'm making some pretty definite decisions about wide receivers I know about. You've got until at least week 6, week 8, even before making a reevaluation of the rookies. And Jameson, just nothing. Put him on taxi squad. You wait.
London, Russ, the question that I asked for the trade addicts this week, where I asked you if you could like crystal ball one player. London is that guy for me. I want to know what London does in 2022 right now. I want to know, because
that's a good one. Yeah,
because he is either going to be Chase Claypool, which sucks because there's so much meat on the bone, or he's going to be really, really good. I mean, he's got all of the blocks have fallen into place for him to have a really great rookie year.
I'm gonna be looking for a subtler good. I honestly, Mike, Daddy's home. I was talking with him about this. There you go, words. I can do words. And I think he's going to be one of those players that has a pretty solid rookie season that people are a little disappointed in. But we'll check back in the off season. But yeah, you're right. I am really interested in his rookie season and how it looks. 12-team Superflex Dynasty. Jefferson and a first.
Yes.
For Lamar and Kenneth Walker.
Oh.
Superflex, so it's Lamar for Jefferson and for... Oh, that's rough. Good job. That's rough.
Yeah, I think I'd take Lamar. I wish it wasn't Kenneth Walker, but if you can somehow... Because I think you're close to getting like a first for Kenneth Walker. Maybe not now that he's hurt, but like if you could flip Kenneth Walker into something good, because I think the value is technically right? Like you got to pay up, even though it's Justin Jefferson, you got to pay up to get to Lamar, especially
I feel
with
like
no QB to get a QB.
I feel like he went out and cooked this up in a laboratory specifically to deflect all of our usual easy answers. Like, just take Jefferson or just take the quarterback, because none of those apply here.
You will. I think you'll have an easier time replacing a wide receiver than you will a quarterback like Lamar. And Kenneth Walker might be the next Nick Chubb, like fantasy-wise, on a team that will probably want to run the ball more. So, like, I would take Lamar. I would try and see if there's a Kenneth Walker person in your league to flip that to, and then hopefully get more than a second. Like if you can grab a second and a good player for Kenneth Walker.
I think that gets a lot harder when you use a player name instead of a wide receiver, though. It's a lot easier to replace Justin Jefferson. It's a little different.
I want Jefferson in the first. I do.
I know, too. But I know.
There is no wrong answer on this one. I really do think it's a very good trade that I don't know how I would convince myself to hit accept on either of these.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, Peyton.
Which means it's great.
Gelato it. Because honestly, if I get this is a trade
again this week.
Kind of trade that sits in your inbox and you think about it so long it just dies before you ever just make a decision. I think that's where I go. Calvin Hobby, I can't tell you how much I love the fact that Zach has pen and paper out during shows.
Always.
I mean, you just fucking Zach does it. Whatever.
He doodles.
No, I write things, Russ. I got notes on you. No, I don't have notes on you.
Yes,
today.
You do.
Oh well, but not today.
Not today, no. But you, you've held up the notebooks. I see they exist.
They do.
Speaking of movie Varsity Blues, the fat guy is skinny now.
Yeah, Ethan Suplee got.
Hopefully he's healthier. Antonio Gibson.
Joe knows.
He actually writes stuff down. Yeah.
I got to use my degree. I got a degree in creative writing. I
might as well have
where's your quill and inkwell?
Where's your iPad, Zach? Go get it. I'd argue kids are dumb. Kids mostly argue we're dumb, so it all equals out.
Oh, so you haven't met my kid. My kid's much smarter than me.
Caleb over everybody.
Kevin got the Varsity Blues 810. Yes. Kevin gets everything. Gary Harmon Jr., what should a competitive team do with productive yet aging veterans with significant roles like Thielen and Gordon? I've tried every which way to trade a package for players for future assets. Yeah, that's the thing they tell you, like trade them now while they're old, but they only tell you that long past the time it's a really good idea to do it.
You needed to get rid of Thielen and Gordon 3 years ago.
That style of dynasty players, honestly, kind of lying to you. Thielen and Gordon's points are worth more than they are. If your team is just trash, probably just trade them for whatever you can get. But I mean, there's relatively few times I'd be like, I'll just wait and see if someone needs them later that I can't get at least a second. And honestly, they're probably both their points are worth more than that. But if your team is honestly building, like has to go from the ground up, you're just trying to get that second round value. But I play them.
Yeah,
they're well past where the sorry.
No, that's it. The rub with this, where Gary says, "What should a competitive team do?" Competitive teams should be playing them. You should also be looking around for non-competitive teams that have players like that on their rosters to add to your competitive team for nothing, because we just said take whatever you can get for them.
And especially, if you're in a league that's acting like that as well, you can probably stock your roster up. Like you're competitive the next 2 years for cheap. And, you're going to be self-generating more capital in future firsts that keep crocking up. And after you kick their butt for 2 years, like this productive struggle thing's rough, man. Gary Harmon Jr. Also, what about Calvin Ridley?
Go get him.
There's been no extra news, has there? There's just
he's suspended.
Same
for the
place,
season.
man.
He's suspended for the year.
treat him-
There's no news to happen.
I treat him as if he's retired, and I will value him higher than most people when he's ready to, when he is coming back. That's the thing. It's not just a suspension. Before it happened, he said he was stepping away. We don't know. Even without a suspension.
But a lot of what's come out about that is he was stepping away stemmed from the NFL investigation into this gambling.
I didn't know that.
At least what I've read. Good, and again, that's not necessarily true because you get it. I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend, but that is how it has been framed. Is the stepping away was the NFL saying you need to take a break, and then they investigated, and then they were like, you need to take a longer break. But
and yeah, that's right now what I'm doing with him. It's like I'll roster him if I've got no one better to pick up. I just hold him on the back of my roster and hope he comes back to the league at some point. I'm not trading for him, and when the news comes out that he's coming back, I'll probably be on the upper end of what I'd be willing to trade for him because I remember he's good. Long memories help in this game. Joe agrees with us that points are good things. Points good.
Smart person.
Points good. Regardless of age, yeah. And my man sparks one up. Sorry, I smoke. I do that.
It's tobacco. It's tobacco.
I get that at this point it's like some kind of I have an addiction. I'll fully admit it, but it's a legal one, so leave me alone. That's all I got. Sorry. I don't encourage it. And that's it. By the way, love the name, Joe. Yeah, I do it too, actually, low key. Gary's got deep breath. Herbert, Stafford, Chubb, Mitchell, Montgomery, Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad Penny, Alexander Madison, Melvin Gordon, Stephon Diggs, Mike Williams, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, Brandon Cooks, Calvin Ridley, and Drake London. Jameson Williams, Mark Andrews, Pat Fairmouth. This is a good team.
Yep.
You've got lots of aging, productive players, but before you just all that, you've got good young players as well. That's well balanced. And it's well balanced in an interesting way. You don't have most of the young guys there, but Andrews is real young for a tight end. London is like wide receiver 1 for some people this year. He's like 2. He's Zach's 9th, as far as I remember. Jameson Williams can't really do anything to affect his. No, I'm probably going to thank you on that. Pat Fairmouth is like really good young tight. Like this is a good, well-constructed team, man. I think you've done really well. I think you go kick some butt until people realize they need to change their ways on their values. Just go kick that butt. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interrupting people's conversations again, so moving on. I like Thielen at least as a depth piece. I keep coming back to thinking about Thielen. It's been a while since he was a buy or a sell. He was just a play. And at this point, if you're looking for points, it's not much better at the value that Thielen brings to get wide receiver points, to be honest with you. I like it. Kid Coop, Hunter Henry, and Mike Gesicki. Spelt interestingly, and even I noticed that. That's bad, kid. Just throwing that one out there. To be fair, I should not be pointing fingers. But this year, and for Dynasty purposes, Mike Gesicki's been perpetually drafted outside the 100th pick in Dynasty, despite being a top 12 tight end like multiple times in the last 3 years. Like, that's what he is. He's Marcus Brown. No one cares. He's just going to be that streamable tight end that's consistently a streamable tight end. And you're not going to get any value. Hunter Henry's kind of that, but for even less value. They're going to be usable. This is a great committee. You're fine at quarter tight end, although you don't have one of those difference makers. And that's where I'm at. Like, I don't find the value worth trading them away. And they're definitely startable, so I'm good.
They're both going to be somewhere between tight end 8 to 14.
Yeah. And you're fine. You've got no need to do anything at tight end, which is not a bad place to be in. What I would say is when I'm in that situation, I tend to go looking for cheap upside, like Trey McBride in this rookie draft. Frankly, Isaiah Likely was my tight end 2 in this rookie draft, and I might have prioritized them because if I can't get Pitts, I can't get Kelsey, then you're going to have to go shopping for the quote-unquote next one, and it's do it cheaply while you play these two guys the next 2 years. You're fine. BJ Lee, that Thai iced tea gelato is calling my name. That's a Dynasty grind staple at this point. Just stolen Zach's decision process.
Well, but BJ's from up around here, so he goes to Gelato Fiasco. So nice. Yeah.
Don't you know Adams averaged 30 touchdowns in 3 seasons? Did he average 30? Maybe he totaled. That's a crazy clip. Yeah. I'm assuming we're talking about Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Devontae Adams is
Adam Thielen? Maybe?
I don't know. I was going to say something about Rodgers, but it could be Thielen. Thielen's much more touchdown, like Adams, actually. He's been a little more touchdown heavy than you'd think.
Well, I mean, Adams is probably closer to averaging 30 touchdowns a season than 30 touchdowns total, because like he's up in that 16 area every single season.
Yeah, Thielen
I think that's an Aaron Rodgers thing.
The last 3 years, 6, 14, 10, which by my count is 30.
Yeah, there we go.
Wait, hold on. Got to get the toes in here.
Why am I on the clock? How could I possibly be on the clock? Oh, it's that league that folded. I keep getting notifications that I'm on the clock in the rookie draft. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
Me too. It's the only league I'm in with like Kyle and you, to be honest. Well, not anymore. Legit contender, 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.5 tight end premium. Start 10. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, DeAndre Swift, Leonard Fournette, Tony Pollard, Rashad White, Isaiah Spiller, Darrell Henderson, Michael Thomas as wide receiver 1 here, Gabe Davis, Brandon Cook. It's dropped off. Kadarius Toney, there's upside in all these players. So George Pickens is good. That's a good value to hold. And Julio Jones, lots of wide receiver upside, not much consistency here. Kittle, Hurts, Higbee.
You're a little low for a 12 team.
Yeah, not quite enough in your receiving core to get over the hump.
I mean, if Tony and Pickens happen to work out this season, you'll be a playoff team pretty solidly, but you need like things to happen for you to be a real contender.
As much as I hate this, because I'd say Pickens, I would be trying to pair Pickens and Davis and going and getting a wide receiver.
Or you know what? Or you find a team that's exactly like yours, a team that has depth but missing some stuff, or no, has like 8 starters and needs like the 10. Go give Michael Thomas and Brandon Cooks like 2 of these guys that have such blah value, but contenders will find value in them because they want points as well. And go get yourself a studlier player, but a studlier player, because then you'll be able to put in the high upside players like Pickens and Tony, and it won't hurt as bad. When you have you're not going to get up to like that Diggs-ish area, but if you could walk away with Cortland Sutton and he has the season, Zach and I hope he does.
Yeah.
Like that'll look great with you putting Tony in. And if Julio does kind of become a thing, he seems like he's just going to be Gronk.
He changed his number to 6.
Take that, do with that as you will. Adjust your rank.
Jeffrey, to be clear, that's not shade. Like most teams should be in that range when looking for future projections. Very few should think they're full contenders. Very few should think they're full builders. Most need things to happen to become one or the other, which also means you have a lot of players that you can package up in the way these guys are saying. And I would try to move one way or the other. That's where you're at. The middle we talk about as being a bad place, but it's not really to start the season because you have everything you need to try and move in one direction or the other. And I would try to see what trades you can get done to do it.
Finishing in the middle is always the worst,
Yeah, you should expect to be a strong team this year. If the right things happen, you're going up. If the wrong things happen, it's okay. Because you're making moves to try and get value to do more. And Swift, going to be a young top 12 running back this year. You're going to be feeling pretty good about that, I think. So, yeah, that's not bad. But that's where I think your team is. P to the R, as most of mine are, if not worse, to be clear. One quarterback, tight end, 12-team PPR Dynasty. What do you need on top of Higgins to trade away Chase? Chase for Higgins plus what? That's a Dynasty Outhouse question, if ever I heard one. It's trade. It's got Higgins or Chase. It's like tearing your darlings apart. It's wonderful.
Value-wise, first and a second, but I'm not going to do it with picks. Like, I'm going to want a player in there that is insanely solid. Like, hold on. I have ADP up. I'm going to see how high I have to scroll for this. Like, sadly, like, hold on. Let me control F. I love that Higgins is the 20th player overall. So, Tucci Higgins, like, Higgins and Pittman, like, I won't feel great about it, but I think about it. Higgins and Waddle, I'll say yes.
I was gonna say Waddle, but it felt like redundant.
You're gonna have to. It's not gonna feel good for the person trading away Higgins.
I would say don't do it. I'd keep Chase.
That's the only way I'm doing that is if I'm getting something stupidly overpayment. Because I do love Higgins, and honestly, I can see a world where Higgins scores more than Chase does this season.
I don't. But
shut up.
Okay.
But again, it won't matter because Chase will still be the wide receiver 1 or 2, and Higgins will probably drop. But yeah, it's the real answer is something worth like a first and a second is what probably the real value should be to make it even. If you're trading away Chase, you don't want it to be even. It shouldn't be even for you trading away a top 2 at their position. You should be getting an overpayment.
Yeah, Higgins is almost too close to come up with a good, like Jalen Waddle isn't worth a first and a second, but that's what you want to pick.
Peter, I need you to scroll down in the comments. Antonia Gibson just said something that needs to be on the screen right now. And yes, I know it's actually Joe, but I don't care.
She said a lot of things, so
all the way down.
There you go.
Someone said it.
Someone besides you, yeah. Well, she knows. She likes Antonio Gibson. Who likes Antonio Gibson?
I'm just gonna step away.
You're not getting involved.
He's writing down. Don't mess with this right now.
Step away.
Pete hung himself to dry on this date. No, I think it's fine to feel that way. I think Chase is going to outscore him. I mean, sometimes you just
Chase will. Yes, most likely Chase will, but I could see a world where Higgins scores more.
Okay. Well, Rick and Morty's back on the air, so we could probably get some use out of that concept. I can't find where we were.
All right, call tonight. We're done.
It was P to the R. Yeah, there we are.
Nope, down. Adam is 30. Yeah, okay, we're still talking.
But that's not true though. That's not true though. Adam Thielen is almost 32. Like he's like right on the
came in a little older, yeah.
And Kupp and Devontae Adams are 29. I'd have to look up Evans
and Hopkins. 32. Thielen turned 32 on August 22nd.
There you go. So 32.
And to be fair, Adams and Kupp are both held in the top 12, and Mike Evans is pretty close to that. Hopkins maybe be getting treated the same, but he's still higher value than Thielen right now. I think that's the point.
Yeah. Evans is not quite 29 or just 29. So so there's a pretty there's a 3-year age difference there. Just throwing that out there.
Gary Harmon. Adam Thielen was great plug and play after Ridley took his hiatus, moved Godwin to the number 2 role, and flexed Thielen for most of the year.
See, that's nice.
It's just solid. Peter, I love that you had Nate on your show last week, and all you can remember is that he is married to Jen.
And
to be fair, Calvin,
you remember the important things.
That's literally not all I remembered, to be fair. Like, I was explaining in minute detail what he was talking to me about and what he said. I remember who he's high on and who he's low on. I remember the important things. and that he's married to Jen.
All right, well, list off everybody that he works for, then, Peter. That was like the first 3 minutes. That was like the first 3 minutes of the show.
I know it took forever for him to tell that list. I was like, geez.
I mean,
he pick one.
Man, he's working hard. I'm like, people are like, what do you do? I'm like, well, occasionally I show up on Peter's show, and that's it. Hi.
Chris Donner, how much fab should I spend on Mariota and Superflex? He was just dropped. I have Hurts, Lance, and Geno currently. I mean, what's your fab budget? I guess we can do percentage. I don't know. Mariota's a starter this year. You probably don't need, and then he's not much at the end of the year. So I feel like there's going to be a better pickup between week 1 and 3. So I'm not trying to blow it all.
Well, I mean, you're
30%?
assuming Lance comes in and does Lance things. I mean,
I think I'd go above 25%.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'd probably go 40, but yeah, I don't mind that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think 40% is fine.
And the other thing is with Mariota, with the starting quarterback this year, like you also have the option to trade him. So like he got dropped. If you get him in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks when somebody needs a quarterback, you've got one to spare.
Also, I don't know if every league allows this, but you can look at the bidding history and see who else bid on players.
And then trade to them.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So, like, say you get a second round pick for Mariota, right? In 3 weeks, you just spent 40% of your free agent budget, which whatever, to get a second round pick. Yeah,
great.
Yeah. So that's how I play that.
Okay,
I'm thinking less about Mariota than I am about what I can get for Mariota later.
But that's fair. That's like Dynasty or something. So let's hold Adam if he pops. I think that's what we said. Like we'd keep Adam, we'd play him, and we trade him for later if someone wants the points. Like you're not going to find an Adam Thielen hater here, especially as I count 2 of the 4 people who believed him as a rookie that I know of and went hard in the paint for him that offseason and got told Laquan Treadwell was going to completely ruin him, and literally got told we were just wrong by names, shall we say, and they never came back. Like, you're not going to find an Adam Thielen head around here. You're looking at a few of the people that actually got that right to start with, not now it's not. We love Adam Thielen.
In song form, good. I got a feeling.
He literally got the theme song to prove it. James Flatley, who you're starting in the flex? 12 team, 4 PPR. Jacobs, Robert Woods, not Talbot, maybe Landry. Talbot, he's in that. Let's give him a few weeks. Let's see how it works out.
I'm sticking with the fact that Jacobs is good. Jacobs is the top 12 running back. I know it's weird now for him, but he's still Josh Jacobs. I give him the shot week 1.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that, Russ. I think you got a better chance at a touchdown with Jacobs than you do with any of the other guys. So let's do that.
No, I have to punch it into my spreadsheet. I spent way too long building this damn thing. It's Josh Jacobs, Robert Woods, followed by Landry and then Talbot. So, same. Chad Booth, press the like button for these guys. 43 people, 9 likes. Appreciate that, Chad. We forget that. If he has an owner or a stud, then starts out slow, and you have to have a player pop early. Try like heck to find a player who is a start slow. And it's another good reason rookies in redraft are pretty cool. Because they tend to they're only group of players I know that average a higher points per game in later segments of the season, no matter how you want to cut it up, whether it's into 3 or 6 or 12 or 2 full halves. Rookies average more towards the back end. Antonio Gibson, heard of her. Kevin Harris made it back to Pat's practice squad.
That doesn't surprise me. I'm glad. I think he runs well. I think what he does well. For what he is, he does that well. So
I mean, they've got a roster full of Janes. What was the quote in draft day? Something like that. Got a lot of Janes. Could use some Tarzans. Could use a Jane, wasn't it? Oh, he would be the opposite. He wouldn't be a Jane, would he? Anyway. No one watched that movie. That makes sense. Kevin Hobby, Davis Minshew. There you go. So J.K. Dobbins might be the steal of the draft, along with Josh Jacobs. They're way too low for what to expect. Josh Jacobs has been top 12 twice, right? Dobbins, yeah, he should be top 12 again. I still don't think he gets into the workload area of those, significant VORP replacements. But yeah, he's solid. J.K. Dobbins, I think he's Nick Chubb of a different sort. The role isn't there because of what the team wants to do. Top 24, great player.
He's also still banged up. Like, I don't know if you saw.
I keep forgetting that, actually.
I'm going to struggle with the idea of starting him or not.
I don't know if you saw the quote from Lamar Jackson today by accident, but they were talking about Dobbins with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was like, yeah, he should be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's projected to start by half. So it's literally a 50-50 thing right now.
Right, he went blurry. What happened?
I don't know. I think he's just tired of us. He needs a little break. Adam Thielen is 32.
Yes.
Facts. Just Sherman 4. Another team. Also redraft half-point PPR. Dak, Swift, ETN, Dobbins, Ramondre Stevenson. Seems familiar. Pacheco, Cup, Evans, Hopkins, Ayuk, Burks, McKinsey, and Fermuth. Good. I like that team too, actually. I really like it. Well-balanced. ETN, like we said, probably more of a sell than a.
Yeah, but in redraft, whatever, like half-point PPR, he should catch the ball.
Yeah.
Hard to make trades in redraft anyway, I think. I mean,
I always think value is really just a thing that exists in Dynasty anyway, but I was never... Trades were rare in the Dynasty experience, in the redraft experience I had. There's not a lot of... They're all win-lose, essentially, and so there's not a lot of motivation to do it. By midseason, if JK is looking 8 to 20 carries, watch out. If it's 8 to 20 carries, he's a top 24 running back. That's kind of in the range of what I would expect. What did he do, though? I actually don't know. Off the top of my head, raw numbers.
Who?
Dobbins. How many touches a game he was getting?
I mean, he hasn't really done.
No, he got injured.
What are we talking about? Like the end of 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I would played 15 games. Didn't do anything last year.
Like he didn't really get usage until the end of like the last 6-7 games of 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. It's the splits. He was getting 8.9 for the season, but that doesn't tell the story.
And I know I'm jumping ahead. Samson says my Dynasty brain has ruined
11
my
to
redraft
13.
Brain. It's so hard to go back to redraft brain.
Yes.
20 touches is good for running back. 20 rushing attempts, not so good, was what I was trying to say. But yeah, that would still be projecting a jump, which is fine. Greg Daly is a beast. Hans or Davis. That's cool. Joe's laughing at us. I appreciate that. What? Funny? JT and a 23 second, Swift and a 23 first, and 24 first. So JT for Swift and 2 firsts. Yeah, that's the way I'd say. There's a second thrown in there. But... I mean, I'll probably take the Swift side and the 2 firsts, personally.
And then turn around and trade him for McCaffrey and something, and then you get the production of JT plus 2 firsts and something. I don't know. That's what I did. Like, I don't know.
That's kind of, JT's running back 1 because we don't have an actual running back 1 without injuries. That's the way I keep thinking about it in my head.
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor's like, he's really good. He's
really good.
He's like if Nick Chubb had a little bit of receiving upside, which is what Jonathan Taylor is. But that's a little bit different than the upside of McCaffrey and Barkley and Kamara and the guys who catch 60, 70, 80, 90 balls like that. He just doesn't have that in him. So
2.5 times, right?
Yeah.
Rushing attempt to a reception.
Yep.
Target. I was reading that article again recently. Greens Point Gridiron. I traded away Drake London and Ramondre. All these rookie trades before the season. It seems like there's a lot of those. Or maybe I'm just doing more live shows, but I don't remember as many last season, for example.
Well, you got
for the 23 first.
No, see, you got a down class followed by a good class. So that's, I mean,
probably what it is.
Yeah.
You getting a 23 first in it, Drake London for a 23 first.
Very good trade.
Good.
Yeah, I'd rather have
I'd
rather have Fournette and Thielen than Stevenson, and I'd rather have the first in London.
First instead of London.
Yeah.
Just traded Garrett Wilson and a 23 fourth for Jameson Williams. And a first. 23.
Yep, take that.
Yeah, we normally break the side of the first.
I mean, I've seen... Yeah. Yes, the answer is yes. Just keep going. Yeah, no reason to go.
Zach was joking earlier, but your camera has come out of focus. Not that it matters. Just worried that you might need to know that for places where you can.
No, Daniel McGrath. I hate this thing. It does that. That's why every once in a while, that's why I lean back, because it goes into focus better because I have this stupid shit behind me. So
that's why I have really crappy. Well, it's not the only reason, but just have a crappy plug and play camera and mic, and they're not sophisticated enough to do stuff like that. So it's cool. Daniel McGrath, 10 teams, start 9, no tight end Premier League. Have Kelsey and Pitts. Nice. Off. Was wondering if I should be flexing Pitt. Yeah, actually, you could week 1 easily, actually. I think when I have guys like Montgomery, Elijah Moore, Ayuk.
Wow, you have Moore and Ayuk on the bench. You need to make
These
some
are
trades.
all flex options. Yeah.
You need to make some trades. You need to package some of these and get some stud.
10 team consolidate for
studs.
Yep.
Like Moore and Ayuk, put them together, go get CeeDee Lamb. Like, go do stuff. Like, you have so much to play with right now.
Too much depth. That's what we always say. Actually, I do kind of. David Montgomery wins, but it's like fractional. So honestly, it's between Montgomery and Pitts. I haven't. Let's see, what's their matchup like? David's home to San Francisco. That's probably going to be a passing game, even for Chicago, right? And Pitts is home against New Orleans. Yeah, I can't lean Pitts. Yeah, I think you very well flex him there. And yeah, you have way too much depth in your flex there. Kenny not even practice. Kenny might not even practice. He's an unknown. I think we missed one.
Oh no,
Kenny
that was back to Kenneth Walker and Lamar Jackson for Justin Jefferson,
because he's banged up
and a first.
Yeah, I think we like Justin Jefferson a lot as well. But again, Jefferson and Diggs and Thielen both were able to be productive. Like, Thielen's good. He's fine. Gary Russell, gotta share this one. Okay, I'm ready to tilt and be jealous. I traded CMC, Pacheco, Brevin Jordan. CMC is the only player I care about so far. Dante Foreman. For Chris Godwin, Malik Willis, I'm guessing. Miles Sanders, Chase Edmonds, and a 23 first, third, a 24 first, second, third.
You did good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate losing CMC, but I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Curious about your thoughts on Eckler in a 10-team Superflex Dynasty League. Eckler's more of a sell than he is a hold because he's a running back in the top 5.
He's going to score points. If you don't want points,
but he is
get rid of him.
So yeah. I literally just offered a 23 first for Eckler in a league in a 10-team. One quarterback PPR where I didn't think I was competing, and then everybody decided they weren't competing, which makes me competing.
Yeah. Trade Addicts 4, Steve. I hate Steve because of how good he is. He took over a team last year before the season. And his team was bad. Like, he started trading stuff away, and then all of a sudden he's like, wait, no one wants to buy this stuff. I've only sold like 2 players. I still have Dalvin Cook on my team. Everyone's rebuilt, and he won the league easily. Like, Zach is absolutely right. If you see more than half of your league rebuilding, which it happens
a lot,
switch.
Everyone's interested in next year.
Switch, go compete. You don't have to sell all your youth. You don't have to do anything stupid, but just get a good starting lineup, and you have a chance at winning the championship. It's that, like, I
nearly thought about doing that in Trade Addicts 7, actually. It might be something similar to Trade Addicts League, something about the name, I don't know. But the thing about that league is I've got no quarterbacks. Like, it's way too hard of a hill for me at the moment. I tried a few, but so far, no. But yeah.
Let me send you an offer.
What do they say? Zig and Zag? I don't know. I mean, you got 2 starting quarterbacks and a running back and a wide receiver. I've got like 4 wide receivers. That's about it. Samson Simpson, free Calvin Ridley. Yeah, it does seem a little disproportionate.
Oh, you literally only have Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. I traded him. I was like, I'm building. I need him. Take him. And then everyone declared, like, I'm building 2. Like, why did you need the quarterbacks? Anyway, but yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo is my starting quarterback in a super flex. Sean Fields, Elijah Moore, Davis Bell, Tannehill, Malik Willis, and Debo. 12-team superflex. I missed a 4 there. Fields, Elijah Moore, David Bell, 4. Tannehill, Malik Willis, and Debo. I prefer the Fields, Elijah Moore, and David Bell side.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm about to go to bed, but I need to talk about this first because I'm like, fuck, I'm panicking.
Go for it.
I have, in my 15-ish years of running fantasy leagues, never actually kicked anyone out. And like, I'm about to hit the send button on.
Are you about to kick me out?
If I was doing that, I would tell you now and not send you an email while we're doing this. I would do it live for everyone.
I'm pretty intimidating. No, go for it. Go. Sorry.
You are taller than everyone would think you are, to be fair.
I am freakishly tall right now.
Like, I talked to this guy before, like, as last season ended. I did my, hey, you coming back? And like, I even said, like, look, man, like, you haven't been in the chat. You haven't really done anything. I'm not saying it. No one ever has to trade, but like, you don't really seem to be part of it. Like, are you coming back? Do you want to keep playing? And he's like, yo, yeah, I'll be there. Yes. And I even put in the message board. I'll read it word for word. Like, I posted it in all of the Trade Addicts chats, even though it was literally because of like 2 people. But I figured if I'm going to tell one, I'm going to tell all of them. Except I apparently skipped over 7. Whoops. No, because Bobby definitely messaged me about it, but here we go. No one ever has to trade, but these leagues are called Trade Addicts, and in the bylaws it states that trading is an important part of the game, and if trade offers end up expiring, to contact me. I'm going to start enforcing this. There have been too many offers getting ignored, and I haven't really done much about it in the past, but I'm updating the bylaws. First expired offer, it's fine. Things happen, people forget. Second expired offer, official warning. Third expired offer, I reserve the right to replace you. If you have an excuse, that's absolutely fine. If you're on vacation or something, if something happens in life, then clearly I won't hold it against you. This is a game. Life is more important. But this is still a game we play. This is still a game we pay for and take somewhat seriously, and it would be a better game with 12 active owners in the league. Again, this isn't saying you have to make trades. It's just saying that you have to answer offers that come to you. No matter how shitty they are, just hit the reject button. If you have anything coming up where you'll be away from life for an extended period of time, please let me know. I'll be on vacation next week, but assuming the hotel has Wi-Fi, you know damn well I will answer my trade offers. And I have 3 expired. I purposely sent this guy 3 trades as one expired. I sent him another one, and he hasn't paid. He's one of the only person that hasn't paid yet. And
that's easy. Yeah, send it.
It's in the bylaws. You send a reminder, and he hasn't paid, and the season starts tomorrow. I would say that's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and
like, I hate the idea of league participation, but I also know you. Like, if you just said, I'm letting them expire because I don't think to reject them, you'd be like, oh, fine.
Because yes, there are absolutely people that do that, and I effing hate it, but They say it. They tell you that's what they're doing. I can't get this guy to answer me. Like, I shouldn't have tried as hard to get in touch with him at the end of the last season as I did. And now,
honestly, I think
I've
if I
never
hadn't
done this before, and it's freaking me the hell out.
If I hadn't paid by now and hadn't been kicked, I would be surprised. Like there are some leagues I can't afford. Sometimes you can't afford to pay your league dues, so they kick you. Especially if you don't reach out to them and say, "Look, I can pay in 2 weeks or whatever."
Yes.
I've had to do that,
and I especially me, because I hate dealing with money, and I will never be that guy. Like, you have to pay. Like, my bylaws say pay by like the rookie draft. And I usually give people till like halfway through the season before I even start asking about it. Because I love, now that I've league safe, that I don't have to worry about most of it. But like, I hate the money aspect of running leagues. It's the part I like the least. Literally the part I like the least.
It's not about the money. It's about the league has to go forward. You need some sort of communications. He's broken the league bylaws twice, despite like an earnest reminder.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a hateful thing. You got to stop thinking about it as you're punishing this guy. The guy isn't actively playing. That's what it seems like to me. He might like the idea whenever you reach out to him, but that's fine. I mean, you're not doing something against him. You're trying to.
All right, so I'm hitting the send button is what you're telling me.
I would.
And then going into MFL and removing him as owner.
Yeah.
All right.
Luckily,
the guy isn't playing. If he's upset, he's not getting to play. He wasn't. I mean, you haven't taken his money. You're not taking something away from him.
You have 19 and a half hours to replace him. So you should be able to. It may not be half an hour before you.
One of the very few things I will ever show pride in is the fact that I could fill a spot in the Trade Addicts League real effing easy.
I'm pretty sure. I was gonna say that's. I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that, but if you've broken even loose bylaws that are usually you're allowed some alliance on, especially when you've been contacted and you've reasserted, "Oh no, I'm aware of that. I won't do that anymore." Honestly, just not paying, and it's the day before the season, will probably be enough for some of my commissioners if they've set a deadline and you have a.
Look at that! I already got one person asking.
There you go. If anyone wants to gig in the Trade Addicts League, now's the time to ask, I guess. I forget where we were.
But I am gonna go.
No problem, don't sweat it, man.
Pace around for like a half hour and then hopefully just fall asleep on the spot.
Okay.
I'm not good at this, which it would be weird the fact that I run 18 leagues, but
you're too nice, Russ.
Yes.
It can be a deficit.
It is. All right. I love you all.
See you later, buddy.
Say start Allen Robinson.
Oh, God. Yes. Start Allen Robinson. Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Good night.
Now, good night.
Allen Robinson's projected on average about 13 points in a PPR league. So he's a pretty strong start this week, especially as a flex play if you don't have anything better. But it's really about who you're starting him over. But Allen Robinson starts in most situations as a flex. Look, we caught up with that one. Hard to hear Dynasty leagues folding. Yeah, I mean, the people haven't folded from Dynasty, so we'll play again. It's just that particular league we couldn't keep a few of them in.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, it was,
I have 9-1 bet that T outscores Chase this year. Actually, sounds like a really good odds for a bet because I gave Russ some stuff, but T. Higgins is, especially if there isn't an injury hurt on that, to be fair. Kyle took over an orphan team, and the team is very weak. If I sell Dak for a lower tier QB, how much draft capital should I look to get in return? If you're selling Dak, you're looking for 3 firsts and value in a super flex. I don't really care how I get it, but I want more of it.
Davis Mills plus 2 firsts is,
And Davis Mills plus 2 firsts would be great.
Yep.
Hey guys, stopping by before I go to bed. This is the guy who was on last week.
Connor.
That guy. Hey, Connor.
Going to bed.
Traded my 23-second and Damian Pierce and got back ETN in a 4th.
Yeah, I think you probably could even get more, but I like that. I mean, I'd rather have ETN than Pierce.
I'd take the ETN side. It's not who I... Yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to put a damper on a party. Damian Pierce is out of control. In some spaces, in most, actually, yes. And to be fair, he's going to get the volume. He's going to score points.
But it's not even in some spaces. Like it's hit the mainstream.
It's everywhere now.
Yeah. So
West Coast Chiefer. I remember you, West Coast. How you doing, buddy? What's up, fellas? Today I traded Kenneth Walker and a 23 first for Waddle and a 23 second.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
How bad did I overpay? No, you did good.
That was perfect.
Did good, my man. That's basic. I'm gonna say that. That's a good trade. And that's why I feel like I left meat on the bone.
Yeah, but you still like Samson. I know we said you did, but you still got a good trade done. So like again, all of these trades that you see coming through this chat are specific to whatever league they happen in, not necessarily specific to your league. So you got to get.
We treat it as one market when really it's a bunch of mini. I mean, that player isn't in your league. You were never going to get that,
right?
And you got if you can get close to the value, you're doing pretty good. To be honest, it tends to be wild swings. I think you did great.
And this absolutely, like I hardly play I play the Scott Fishbowl, and that is basically it for redraft because of this. And even in the Scott Fishbowl, like last year, and I specifically went in this year trying not to draft rookies, but last year I took Kyle Pitts in like the 3rd or 4th round, and I was like, this is awesome. And he had a good year and an exceptional rookie year, but wasn't worth where I took it. And it's just like, I know.
If it was a dynasty, you would have been great. But
look how shiny these young players are.
I mean, I literally drafted Jameson Williams in a redraft league. I mean, I don't know where my brain was at when I did that, but I did it. 12-team Superflex PPR. Burrow, Stafford, Tannehill, Jimmy G, my best quarterback in trade X7. Swift, Gainwell. This team. Who to trade for running backs. I mean, you can trade anyone for anyone, to be fair. But if you're looking for my biggest tradeaways on your team, I mean, I would
Tannehill,
see how the season plays out a little bit. Tannehill is someone I've got on my rosters that I would trade. Davis Mills plus a running back, and Tannehill should bring a hefty sum in a super flex. That's an interesting one. I tried it for Mac Jones. It didn't work out. I still say DJ Moore. Amazing player. He's the Chubb and Dobbins of the wide receiver position to me. We can't separate good player from good fantasy outcome. I think his value brings you more than it necessarily should. And so I'm looking at David Moore and like DJ Moore is awesome. He should be well valued in Dynasty. What running back can I get? What do I have to add to get the running back that I want? That's the player that stands out to me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I like that.
I hate saying I love DJ Moore. He's great, but
and also Pacheco has more value than he should right now.
Good one.
And so does Gainwell. And so if I can take those two and turn them into a starter, I'm going to be happy. Because I don't believe Gainwell's a starter.
That's fair. I have no big objection. Who would you do DJ Moore for a first next? No, he's worth more than a first. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it,
like a first and a second,
he's fine.
Maybe 2 for yeah,
really good.
Yeah,
be in the top.
He's the top 24. Yeah.
Think you could try for a little more.
Yeah.
I think that's general message. Tell us the problem, Russie.
He did. He did.
He did. He was mad. Big mad. McLaurin and Miles Sanders to get Breece Hall. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. You're basically upgrading Sanders for the price of McLaurin. Don't get me wrong, it's not a walk away win. The other team's getting something good, but I think I'd do that, yeah. I know I would do that. Sorry, follow up on the Eckler question. That's no problem. Earlier in 10-team Superflex PPR, trade him away for Dobbins, a 23 second and a third. So Eckler for Dobbins and a second and a third. I don't think that's quite enough, is it?
No, I would not do that because I think what Eckler is going to score you is worth more than all of that put together. Like I know Russ is big in on Dobbins.
His value can't go down, that kind of conversation.
I'm still hesitant on Dobbins. I think Eckler gives you a lot more for production this year, potentially next year. Like, look, Eckler's probably a top 4 scoring running back this year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was going to mention earlier. People have some concerns on Eckler because he's a running back and this 27 age is a big concern. And that's broadly true. But he's already proven the last time we saw a running back be as productive as Eckler at that age was the last time we saw a good running back hit that age. If you know what I mean, it's not about the age cliff. Sometimes it's about the cycle of running backs. And Eckler should produce. The age 27 isn't a big cliff for that kind of player, in my opinion. And the team looks incredibly confident that he can do what he did next year. They didn't try and do too much. So I expect those points and only trade him at that value. Yes, Joe agrees with us. Kick him. It's in the bylaws. They even give him 2 extra reminders. And the dude hasn't... I can't get over that. If you haven't paid, you can't expect to stay in the league. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, sometimes life happens. And if you reach out and say, look, I can't do it right now, most commissioners that I know, good ones, will be like, yeah, sure. I give you this much leeway or this much. He hasn't even reached out to say that. He just straight up hasn't played and hasn't paid. I don't think the guy will even notice if you kick him.
Yeah. Yes, you're probably right.
Samson, I've made a trade and sent another 5 since this show started. Yeah, that's yeah. We're not meant to be a trade show, but I mean, it's Dynasty. It's what a lot of our thought process runs through. What's one player to another player.
And with like that's Russ's wheelhouse.
That's Russ's
man,
thing.
so
Very good at it, no matter what he says. Yeah, seriously, hit him up. He's probably in bed right now. But, I have one arch nemesis. Oh, actually, to that point, if Dynasty Outhouse and the Trade Addicts in general have a Patreon page, I think they run most of that stuff through their Patreon page. And not a lot of people mention this about Patreon pages. You can be on there without paying. Like, there's not every post is a paywalled thing, and I'm sure they've got stuff going on. I would definitely recommend checking it out if you want to get in a Trade Addicts league. Some of the best running leagues that I have seen.
Yeah. I've heard. I'm not in one, but I've heard.
I only have one arch nemesis in one league. I'm surprised, Joe. You seem like someone who would develop arch nemesis. I don't know. Gary Russell, being a commission means making the tough decisions. Russ does. He's just
such
not good.
He's a good commissioner
and not bending backwards for people. Like he wants to do more than he should. And he'll get it done. You can see him struggling with it, but he's going to do it. How could anyone hate Russ? I don't know. I have a natural ability to hate. Hey guys, how would you value Rondo Moore right now? That's a difficult question for me. If he has 2 good weeks to start the season, I'm gonna go nuts, and I shouldn't. Rondo Moore hits that didn't perform well enough as a rookie for me to not think he's a sell. But right now, his value actually dropped, which is why. But he dropped to a range where he's worth like a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah,
and for that, I'm willing to give him a few weeks. If he has 2 good weeks out the gate, he's gonna be worth a 1st, and that'll be a hard decision because I would need a couple more weeks to know at least another week to feel like if this is his season or if that's just a 2-week trend. Process says if that happened, you should trade him away for a 1st. But I'd probably on team keep him because I just
I'm about a round higher than current ADP on him.
Yeah,
and if he does well in the first 2 weeks of the season, I'm probably 2 rounds higher than that. Like that's.
He's got that dog in him.
But I mean, whatever. But I like Rondo Moore. I liked him on film coming out of school. I think that he is miscast as strictly a super low ADOT behind the line of scrimmage type player. I think he can play out of the slot and down the field and be very successful. I'm hoping that he is used that way. But again, you're hoping that something we haven't seen happens, which is not a great bet.
It's not a great bet, but his value's
so low that it's okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a Tyler Boyd, but not that extreme. Tyler Boyd dropped a lot further.
Yeah.
But the concern I had with Rondell Moore as a rookie was twofold. One, we didn't see him play enough because he basically played that amazing rookie season and then never played again. And two, he was such an athletic freak. Like, of course he outplayed everyone in college, even at 18. Like, athletically, he was pretty impressive. And I worried he was just dominating above average for an 18-year-old because of that. But I'm so interested in seeing how that story plays out that I'm holding a higher value on him than I probably should. If you've got him, if you can get a second, you probably should. 2 weeks out, you should definitely get a first if he's doing well. FF Lefty, notes from my home league rookie draft. Damian Pierce went 104, and I took David Bell at 309. Whew. Hot, like it.
Nice.
Look how shiny these young players are. Yeah, that's kind of the Dynasty philosophy, summarized by Zach Reed. Wando and McBride, I'm real close on them, honestly. I think I had it Wandell, then McBride, but like those were two players. Oh, no, I'd have to look. You can check my rookie ranks.
I want McBride.
I lean McBride because of the tight end-ness. I do like trying to exploit those later tight ends. That tight end value gets a little exaggerated if they do stuff. But Wandell's a really interesting prospect. I think his value jumped off the charts. I know every day you hear he's an undersell or undervalued. It's like the reverse of Gabe Davis. In Dynasty, Gabe Davis is ranked too low, and Dynasty Wandell is ranked too high. If you know what I mean? I think that's where the disconnect comes from. 12-team full PPR, Superflex redraft, start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, Chase Edmonds or Drake London. Start sit, probably Edmonds.
I'd probably start Edmonds, yeah. Especially, and I hate to say this as a Patriots fan, but the Patriots are going to Miami, and traditionally that is a really tough place for them to go early in the season with it being hot. They just played really poorly. I feel like Edmonds is going to get some run.
Yeah.
So
just let you all know, we are fading out. I can tell Zach's getting tired. Well, I'm lying. I'm getting tired. And I assume Zach is. I don't care how Zach feels. He's just a tool I use to make entertainment, obviously. I don't know why I went that way with it. I thought it'd be funny. But if you've got questions, drop them in. But I'm going to answer the last few and, slowly eat towards the look behind you tactic that you will never see coming. Chu Kobo. Yeah, we're going with that. 12-team, full PPR, 1 quarterback. What move should I do next? Kyler Murray, Brady, Mac Jones. Stuck at running back and Superflex. Tight end. Quarterback. Shit, definitely tight. Pardon me. Taylor Swift, Javonte, Etienne. I mean, this team's nothing. Win. You're good.
Yeah.
It's young and it's productive.
You have too many quarterbacks, but it doesn't matter because you have everybody else.
And the season's here, so you don't. And you're young enough, you don't need to go get more value necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anyone who could upgrade? I mean, yeah, you could go get CMC, but I don't think it would be worth it for ETN and Judy and try and get Max upside at running back.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
that's a good team.
He's got no picks till 2025, and I'm not even worried about it.
Doesn't matter because
No. You can trade one of those quarterbacks if it turns out your season's not going the way you need it to and get picks. That's the only thing I can think of. I'd probably just sit, smile smugly.
You need to set a lineup because the season starts tomorrow.
By the way.
Yeah.
Gary Harmon Jr. AP is the only running back I can think of that came off an ACL injury the previous year and tore it up the next year. I feel like that's happened since. Dobbins this year, maybe Barkley last year.
It's usually it's the first year is usually a little bit rough. And then the second year is when they come back to what they were. But again, it's really difficult to look at historical trends with things like medical, injuries and that, because the medical field gets so just jumps so far ahead.
Even in the same area, there's not and an ACL repair.
Right.
And it's like you don't get one cancer treatment. Everyone gets slightly different, even if it's the exact same thing.
And even like, and again, I'm not an NFL athlete, but like I tore a patella tendon. I tore like complete rupture of a patella tendon. Like couldn't move my leg. I went in and saw an orthopedic surgeon who was the U.S. Olympic hockey team orthopedic surgeon. He said, if I'd done it 10 years earlier, I probably wouldn't walk again without a limp. Now I can play like if you and I played basketball, I would kick your ass, Peter, because you're from England and you play soccer and run. But like I'm at a point where like you are very tall, but I still got you. But like again, like I can run. Like it's incredible, and that's not with all of the technological advances that NFL teams are paying for. You know, it's
you got to assume they have good doctors, right?
They do.
What about Fields and Elijah Moore? Buy Elijah Moore. Sorry, it's a trade. Fields and Elijah Moore for Tannehill, Malik, and Debo.
Then it's a lot. It's probably the Tannehill Debo side, but it like I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of icky.
If you're trying to get, I don't understand why you're trying to get
a job next year. I don't know where he plays, and I don't know if Malik gets that job either. Even if Tannehill's not there. Yeah, Debo's a great piece. Don't get me wrong. And a super flex, it's the quarterback position I'm mostly concerned about. Just simple basics. And Fields, even a bad season, feels a little more secure than both in Tennessee.
Nope.
But with Bell out, yeah, I'd probably just take Debo. But it's still kind of icky. You know how to communicate with me just by referencing Fair enough. Edmonds and London for the full season, not just 1 week.
Oh, man.
Edmonds, screw it. He's a rookie.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking Dynasty, I'd rather have London on my team than Edmonds. If you're talking a redraft, if you're talking just this season, it's Edmonds. Edmonds should score more points.
General rules, one rookie is going to finish inside the top 24. A top 24 wide receiver beats the top 24 running back, even if both hit their outcomes. I don't think it's London if you ask me to pick one from this rookie class, so I'm going to lean Edmonds. But, I mean, that made it rougher. Thanks for another great show, Samson says. No problem, man.
Thank you for showing up. You guys are the ones that make it great.
Thanks for describing it that way.
We'd just be sitting here staring at each other if there weren't people asking questions in the chat.
Yeah.
So
we've talked to each other too much. We already know. No reason for conversation. Chukobu. Sorry, buddy. It's late for me. He's new to Dynasty. It's his second season. Welcome to the club. Hope you're enjoying it. At which age cliff should I trade away a running back, wide receiver, and have them as long as possible on my roster, but also trade them early enough to value? I understand where the question comes from with age cliffs. I think it's individual. Look, it's Eckler this year at 27. That should be passed. You should be trading for the value. But the thing is, running backs, I don't think move in that straight line. It's about good classes getting older. So Eckler should still be good, despite the fact we haven't seen a top 25 season from a 27-year-old in a while. It's because we haven't had a great running back be 27 in a while, because that class aged out, and then we get a bunch of new guys coming in. It's a little intermingled, but that's generally roughly how it goes. This is the best thing I can probably tell you, especially quickly, about Dynasty. That's thinking too long term. If you're thinking in yearly windows, it's too long. I know the inclination for it and the way so much content is written that way, but you should really be thinking in smaller windows, not larger ones when you get to Dynasty. Micro markets exist, as we talked about a lot. And it really comes down to the individual player. Like Adam Thielen right now, there's no point trading him away, even on a losing roster. His points are just too good. You got to hope someone needs him during the season. Austin Eckler, despite being 27, well past most age cliffs, points are definitely more likely than not. And so you keep him and hope to find a micro market where someone wants those points during the season. we want I know, because I want them too, just easy lines that I can draw for you to start out. Instead, I'd say scale it back and think more redrafty. Since you're new to Dynasty, you're probably playing redraft before that. You can lean on that a little bit more than you think. The Dynasty difference is mostly about drafting and trading, not about player evaluation.
And the thing that I will add to that is generally how I attack things is I will trade running backs to acquire what I consider young, proven wide receivers, and then draft running backs again. And that's how I cycle it. And again, it's not a 1-for-1 because there are classes where Jamar Chase last year was one of the best players in the class. So you're not drafting a second tier running back over a first tier wide receiver, but if you have a first tier running back and a first tier wide receiver in a rookie draft, I'm splitting the difference and breaking ties to that running back because I know that they're going to, as a general rule, hit quicker, hit earlier, still have that value. I can get a year or 2 or 3 of production, still be able to trade them for that pick or for that receiver, and then recycle my picks into running backs. So that's how I usually attack it. Again, it's like Peter said, it's on a case-by-case basis. It's not there's no magic bullet to being successful in Dynasty, but there are a lot of little tips and tricks.
It's really interesting. Like talking with Nate, one of the things, I might be wrong, but I think we're stuck in a certain window that's not uncommon. But like Nate recently started moving into Dynasty the last 2 years, like you two. And I feel like he's making similar mistakes to we made 4 or 5. Not mistakes. Yeah. But he's falling into this idea. We're seeing a pattern that's shorter term, that's actually a longer window. There's a 10-year cycle of talent instead of a 4-year cycle of talent. And so he's got a lot of hope coming in. Like these rookies are going to be great. The 23 class is going to be great. I still remember 2015 and 2016 and 2017 when it all came to a crashing halt. And it wasn't just a down period. It's that talent cycle through the NFL. Not entirely predictably, in that I can draw age lines for you, but it does cycle. So throw that out there as well. There's no strict age cliff. You can probably evaluate the players in their situations, just like you would in Dynasty, just like you would in redraft. Dynasty is more about the draft and the trade values, but the fact value exists in general. I wouldn't put too much pressure on you to change the way you think about what's going to happen the next season, because that's still pretty much the same. But like Zach said, you can draw loose rules. Trade running backs for wide receivers a year early rather than a year late. Try to sell running backs before they hit. The minute they hit the top 12, they're sells, honestly. Running backs in general, especially in the offseason. Wide receivers, especially if they prove themselves, you pretty much end up keeping them until they're Adam Thielen right now. But honestly, Adams, Tyreek Hill, these 28-year-olds are probably, because they're so proven, getting a little extra leeway. Normally try and be out of them by 26. But again, I really wouldn't recommend following those as laws. They're guidelines at best, according to career value arcs. But yeah.
And a lot depends on your team too.
Yeah. That's where the draft and the trade thing comes in.
Yep.
I hope that's somewhat helpful for you, bud. Calls. Buy or sell on Ayuk.
Buy Ayuk, but not because of the Lance connection.
No.
Buy Ayuk because he's a good player. He was overvalued last year. He's undervalued this year. Yeah.
His value dropped because it went too insane. It's still higher than it was as a rookie, and rightly so. He was a great rookie. He had a great sophomore campaign. It just wasn't round 4 great. And so everyone doesn't like him now. And that's kind of trying to punish the player for the fact you all didn't listen to me. No, for the fact we got it wrong.
We do that, though,
Peter. The fact that Deebo Samuel exists. Don't punish him for it. And I think his current value, trade for him. Would I trade a 23 first? That goes back to what we were just talking about with Chu. It's about your team. The trade value is right, but I'm not sending a first if I don't have a strong team, because the first can do more for me to build. But that's kind of value is probably fetching right Jacob Blitzstein. Is it worth trading Tylen Wallace for Justin Hill? No, I think both have been cut in most of my leagues. Tylen Wallace is painful,
Wallace
man.
on taxi, but can replace him with Jordan Mason. I'd rather have Mason, who's a running back
Really?
for the 40. Yeah.
Oh,
Then
he's a running
Tylen
back?
Wallace or
Yeah.
Justice Hill. Yeah.
I still have forlorn long distance hope, but yeah, that's roster the running back. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just dynasty process. Enjoying the game tomorrow night, fellas. Good luck this weekend. You too, Gary. Really appreciate it. Gary Harmon, another Garmin. He's also in his second year of Dynasty, learning curve going from redraft to Dynasty, but I think most of the owners in my league are new to Dynasty also. Yeah. I mean, most Dynasty players are on a learning curve, guys. We have really picked up the game in the last few years. If you look at the accuracy of the ADP in terms of value increases, last 3 years is really when we started to put our game together. I know it's been going longer than that, but like you're not young, you're not out experienced by too many people. Don't worry about it. Zach,
well, and
feel like you had a
no. There's been such an influx since the pandemic. There's been such an influx of people into fantasy football and specifically Dynasty that, like you say, I'm in year 2 and I'm still learning, but so is half of the Dynasty community. Like
I really think so. Yeah, like you're not new. You're learning with the rest of us. I really think so. Don't feel out of place. And the other thing is, screw those nerds. If they think no. And what is interesting is I came in after 2014 to the Dynasty space, and there's a lot of people just coming in. Like Zach said, we're really starting to grow again after 2021. Like as wide receiver boom years for rookies, like is that? I wouldn't be surprised because you draft these guys, they do great in their rookie season. You're like, I wish I could roster them for their career. That was honestly one of my first thoughts that led me to Dynasty, and it might be a thing. Dynasty New. What's an acceptable trade for Aaron Jones and Zeke in draft picks? Again, a lot comes down to trade value and team situation when you're talking about older running backs. But they should bring 23 firsts.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah, I think probably Aaron Jones has a little more value than Zeke. Right. So just like, weird. Yeah, I know, but that's
I'm with you.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean a 23 first, but like Jones is like a 23 first, and Zeke is like a, hey, I'll give you a 24 first and a 23 second, and see if that gets it done.
You might need to throw in a sleeper or a third or a fourth round pick or something someone else likes.
But But Peter, look over there.